delete it all.
What's up, peace? We live. We about to be back on the Convo couch, so. But I had to go live from my channel since these assholes decided,
No. No, fucking, we're gonna go live.
Nah, they were being courteous. That's why they didn't go live.
Last time we went live because we knew you were in your wedding and shit, and we fucking went.
I'm married, y'all. Oh my god, we didn't get to gossip about it. Yeah, my wife's the shit. Not gonna lie. She's absolutely drop dead gorgeous.
Yeah, it's got.
The mic's ready?
Mics are ready.
We ready. If you ask me, I'm ready. Anybody else love Alicia Keys? I love Alicia Keys. Thank you, Kimberly.
I do like Alicia Keys.
Alicia Keys is shit.
We have a dead animal near the fucking basement somewhere.
We have a what? A dead ass.
Animal. So if it
Like
smells
dead ass?
weird, yeah.
Oh, I didn't even smell it.
Okay.
Where I live with 6 cats.
What's up?
But dead ass serious, I live with 6 cats. It's like.
Oh, hell yeah.
Which camera away?
Right,
Gotcha.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to the Convo Couch, everyone. I am Pasta Jardula, and we are here with a special guest in the studio, in the house, from South Florida, Niko House.
Hey, what is up, everybody? It is an absolute pleasure to be here in Los Angeles, and I do have to say thank you to everyone who donated to our Patreon and GoFundMe to make this happen. Now, I do got to make an ask. If you can, go to the Convo Couches GoFundMe if you're on theirs and help them get to New York. We have a lot of stuff we got to get taken care of in New York, just like we did in Iowa, New Hampshire, California. You know, the beat goes on, right? I gotta give a shout out to that. They have a private profile on Instagram, so I'm not gonna say their name, but I gotta give a shout out to the person who DM'd me and said, "Hey man, why don't you go by Home Chomsky?" And I was like, "What home?" Cause the house. I was like, "That's kind of fire." Like, I give a shout out to you. That was pretty clever. I like that. Except for I don't demonize aside. We ain't gonna talk about that, no. But you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, man. What's up, Pasta? I haven't seen you in like 2 weeks.
I know, it's been such a long time, but guess what? Right now, it is close to 3:31 p.m. Let me get this all caught up. And we are about half an hour away from closing the polls in South Carolina. I thought you'd be there. You didn't make it there, but you're here with us now today.
We're here today.
What are your predictions for today in South Carolina? Just call, spitball, give it to me. What do you think's going to happen? Give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yes.
So originally it was Bernie by a mile, then Biden, then Steyer, then Tulsi, then Buttigieg, then Klobuchar.
And Warren is where?
I don't know where Warren's.
Because I almost had.
I left her off the list on purpose.
Ooh,
I just don't know where she's going to be at. She really didn't spend a lot of time campaigning there, and we actually covered that a lot. That there were certain people that seemingly given up on South Carolina. Warren being one of them, Buttigieg being another one, and Klobuchar kind of gave up there early too. So I don't know where Warren is going to be. I know we just watched that interview with Ayanna Pressley, so she said she's been out there stomping for her. But just with her dropping out, or not dropping out, but kind of dropping as far as her prospects of a possible nomination are concerned, right? Because the path doesn't look very clear for her anymore. And then Bernie just having the sheer numbers to knock on door after door after door after door after door. And black people, just from personal experience, especially Southerners, they like that personal interaction, right? We do have recency bias. In other words, what have you done for me lately? Have you shown that you care? Or are you just trying to reach me through CNN and MSNBC? And Bernie just has had that power. I know Tulsi's been down there, and her volunteers have been knocking on doors as well. But just that, like I said, the numbers that Bernie Sanders has is what makes me put him number one. But I don't know if it's by a mile anymore because I'm sure y'all probably already reported. I was on the plane, so I don't know. They mysteriously closed 52 precincts in the largest city or polling locations are in the largest city in South Carolina. We don't know why. So, and it's believe it or not, it isn't the black people being disenfranchised this time. It's the white people now.
Young, white, late progressive voters, right?
Exactly.
So, I mean, and we, our audience was on top of this. They reported it. We got it out there, too. We woke up to seeing this, and these are the same tactics we're seeing all over the place. suppress the votes on voting day. Let that early voting get through, because that early voting is usually what? More conservative, more right-leaning, more moderate.
And you
the
have more control over it. Not
exactly.
People they're trickling in versus everybody paying attention.
We remember that first day we did that show, and Nancy Pelosi had like, bloop, they reported she's got like 100,000 votes right up. Well, they had that early voting in, and they're going to do the same thing in South Carolina. They're going to do the same thing in California, New York, Florida. Everywhere. This is where they're going to shape votes. They're going to start with your registration. They're going to start with your slowing down the polls.
Yep.
And then if you're closing these polls in South Carolina, when there wasn't already enough polls to begin with, that's going to cause long lines, delays, and people aren't going to wait behind. So the progressive vote will suffer. So you didn't have Warren in there, whatnot, but you did have Tom Steyer up a little bit higher this way. Why do you got Tom Steyer a little bit higher up in the polls this time?
Because...
Did you see him dancing?
Because he and his wife were breaking it down to back that ass up. Boy, he was channeling his inner Lil Wayne, and then you had his wife back there looking like Lil Kim. Bro, she was hitting. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. Star looked like he was broke, but she looked like she was trying to fix it, right?
Yeah,
she was 1 milli rock away from a shmoney dance. She was, look at, where the wife at, man? See, y'all, that's the good shit. Look at the wife.
He's fixing it. He's trying to get in with
this
it.
This the black. My man's over here, DJ, like, boy, we gotta get paid. I got a super chat. You mind if I answer real quick?
Go right ahead, please.
Valdis Mosley, thank you very much for the super chat. I'm not a Democrat, but I do support the MCSC network, by the way. Screw CNN and MSNBC. Hey, we right there with you, man. I appreciate you.
That's why we do this.
McCracy, you all work hard and are so passionate. Respect. We do work hard, and we are even more, believe it or not, we're more passionate than we have the energy to show sometimes.
Yep.
But
we got one from Poopy Cakes. Just heart. Thank you, Poopy Cakes, as it is always appreciated on the couch. Niko, what do you think about our new product? We have these new Convo couch pillows.
Oh, bro.
You can get these for $25.
The Convo couch is sold out to Big Pillow. They sold the Big Fluff.
To big cotton.
Hey, I'm. Oh, whoa! Wait a minute! Wow.
Look,
okay.
Oh, sorry.
He is not representative of the Bernie Sanders.
Oh
man!
But it is cotton inside.
Cotton.
That was bad.
It's Black History
Month. My bad. Thank God, Niko. Please forgive me here. T and Kong says, Niko, your 5 feet is exposing.
The Convo couch got a little less comfortable. Got a little less comfortable.
Well, we would call the Convo. We would call the comfortable couch, and we were also called the My House Is Your House network. A lot of people were upset. They thought that we were a little bit too warming and too coddling of Bernie Sanders, especially with the Russiagate going on. Let's talk about that, Niko, because we always talk about how it can hurt and really affect Bernie Sanders in the general election. It might not hurt him in the primary when it comes to the Democrats, but that type of saber rattling, that type of warmongering from Tulsi's op-ed in the Hill, which was amazing. It was some of the best reading. It was a small read, a short read, but it got right to the point and it was detailed. What are your thoughts and your opinions when it comes to Bernie Sanders, when it comes to that political calculation his campaign has decided to make? You know, Nina Turner, I gave her the strike last week. I was so upset when it comes to this Russiagate narrative. Go ahead, Niko. So
let me just go ahead and be honest, y'all. I'm biased. Like, that's like Nina's first mistake during the entire campaign. So I didn't cover it mostly because I was getting married that weekend, but I won't go cover it anyway. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I was about to give her a whole pass on it, but I complained about it to my people because I just don't think it's good for the campaign. I don't think it's a good look for Nina. But the real reason I give her a pass because foreign policy is in her wheelhouse, right? That is the campaign orthodox right now, and that's why she said what she said. Now, the problem with that is it should not be the campaign's orthodoxy. Matt Duss is leading the Bernie Sanders campaign astray. He has this disdain towards Russia, and very rarely displays any type of competence or ability to explain why he dislikes Russia as much as he dislikes him. He just quotes, like, for him to be a foreign policy advisor, he simply quotes the same CIA talking points.
Yeah, he does.
Like, that I could get off of CNN or MSNBC. So that's why it's a little bit confusing to me why he somehow has more influential over Bernie's opinion in that regard than like a Tulsi Gabbard would. Not saying that she doesn't, maybe he just doesn't listen, but he clearly, Bernie's clearly listening to Matt Duss more than he is listening to Tulsi's message. Now, as far as the calculation is concerned, the people have already spoken. It's a bad political calculation because let's just say we're looking at polls, right? Generally, if we're not looking at polls that are regarding like a primary situation where you're trying to skew votes one way or looking at polls that's regarding like a head-to-head situation, like Trump versus Hillary, Trump versus Bernie, the polls are usually actually pretty reliable because they get a huge, massive sample size because it isn't a campaign or a or a party paying for it. It's like a bigger or larger entity. So the polls have already told Bernie that this is a bad strategy. The moment that Donald Trump gets acquitted, when they, this impeachment was about Ukraine, but they wouldn't shut up about Russia the entire time. And then, of course, when Russiagate was finally over, both of these times we saw Donald Trump get a massive campaign bump. In other words, people heard both sides, even if they hadn't heard it before, and decided that the Russiagate story, in whatever capacity that happened to be in at the time, was bullshit. So if the Russiagate story was bullshit, and once again, he has a 49% approval. I don't know, that stock market just, woo, boy, that shit just...
Yeah, but I don't think they're going to put it on him. They're going to put it on the coronavirus. And at the end of the
Yeah,
day, I don't
he's
think
been
anyone's
able
going to put that directly on Donald Trump.
If he
I heard
was
some
smart,
people trying to, but...
He called it a hoax. And I'm like, bro, if you was smart, you'd be like, yeah, that coronavirus, bro, that's a big old deal, man. Really hurting markets. Not my fault.
Yeah.
But
Well, it's lacked a lot of confidence in the markets as of late because there's a lot of international and global trade that goes into our stock market that can really be affected by this. But, I don't want to just give Matt Duss all the guff. I want to give some to Fayez Shakur because he has also got the sentiment. And when it comes to this whole what's going on in India, this Delhi, which is by far one of the most confusing things to try to figure out unless you go there. Both sides are saying, the anti-Modi, he's terrible. Oh, these are Muslim extremists. You can't get a grasp of what's going on. We go through all these threads. It's going back and forth. So it's very, very hard. But I would like a non-interventionist approach from the campaign. And Bernie seems to be picking a side.
He seems to be picking a side. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be honest with you, y'all. I understand. Bernie, I told y'all, he has this thing where he has to be adversarial. It's weird. He has to have an enemy in order for him to get up or feel motivated or feel like he is motivating the masses, which honestly, I mean, historically, if you've read The Art of War, that's not a bad idea. The problem is there are some times where you, as a politician, as a diplomat, as a person who just, is an advocate of world peace, you got to take a step back. And first of all, if you're looking for a foreign policy advisor, any presidential candidate, congressional candidates, Congress people, hey, call me real quick. I'm going to talk to y'all. This is what you say if you're in a situation. You don't listen to Fives. I'm sure he might have been well-meaning.
Break it down what you should say,
but you don't listen to Fives. Here's what you should say.
Just go ahead.
Listen, the relationship between Muslims and the Hindu population of India has been a contentious situation that's really specific to Indian culture, Indian history, and the Indian people, regardless of their religious background. Therefore, my heart and our hearts are with those who have suffered from these events. We trust and will work with officials in India in order to make sure that these events do not occur here or anywhere else around the world, because our ultimate goal should be bridging our cultures and bridging these or creating a bridge to discuss these issues so that we can have peace everywhere. That is how you deal with that situation.
Yes.
That is the correct answer. Not, oh man, Hindus are doing this and Muslims are doing this, because I can guarantee you whatever story we have heard, it is a lie. I've been paying attention to it, but people have been saying, well, because I've had Indian people, for example, say, look what the Muslims did here. And then I've had Muslims, of course, say, look what, well, actually, no. I've had Tulsi haters say, look what Modi did. That's, in their head, he took a match and lit a mosque on fire. And I've been like, I haven't responded to either side because I know to a degree, both sides are kind of bullshit. I know that there was something else like the Gujarat riots. It wasn't anything that was being reported. All of it, for the right and for the left and for the neoliberal left, it was all wrong. It was a misunderstanding, and then it led to a larger event that was somehow attached to Modi. So
and Niko, what better way? How much more do we need a bunch of white people telling Indians and Muslims within India what to do? It's like, let them decide their decisions on their own. And that's what Tulsi Gabbard said. They need to come to a conclusion together. And I asked her, would you talk to Imran Khan? She said, absolutely. Okay? So brokering peace by letting these people deal out, work with their own problems with their own countries, for once and for all, the West should stay out of it. And that's the only thing I would add to what you said, is that America cannot get involved anymore. Every single time we get involved, disaster happens.
And by the way, now that goes for Tulsi's response to the situation in Syria and Turkey right now. I largely agree with her, but I think she played the side too much. Her ultimate conclusion was correct, which is better. I like that more than the reverse, which is Bernie will get the lead up correct and then say, or he get the lead up wrong, and then the conclusion will be we should stay out. I need the conclusion to be correct and the lead up to be correct. And the lead up for Tulsi, in my humble opinion, was a little bit too contentious, right? It was too adversarial. Everything that she said about the dictator in Turkey is true, because that man came into power by our help. He's been doing our bidding. He's one of those type of leaders, and I understand that. But if we ask her to be diplomatic in assessing the situation in Syria and in India and in Iraq and Afghanistan, we have to ask her to be consistent when we're talking about Turkey. I understand from her perspective, like I feel the same way about the leader of Turkey as I do about bin Salman, right? I understand from her perspective, she's tired of U.S. puppets playing the victim. Like, I get that.
Erdogan and like you just said, MBS. Those are the two.
Those are the main ones.
We're talking about that.
But she goes after him, Erdogan, bin Salman, Netanyahu. She goes after the U.S. puppets consistently in the same way, right? Because she's been like that on Netanyahu harder than anybody.
Yeah.
So and I get that, right? But when we're talking about a situation that could pull the United States into war, which is mostly what that discussion is, she in my humble opinion, should say what the facts are. She don't have to say he's a brutal dictator, he's an Islamist, even though he is, right? Just like the Saudi Arabian royal family, they are Islamists, which isn't the same thing as being a Muslim, and you gotta be diplomatic and consistent, because when people hear your speech about Assad, which is very diplomatic, which is very judicious, and then they listen to your speech about either bin Salman or Erdogan, they're gonna be like, well, hold on, well, why is it that you're harder on this particular dictator but not that other Syrian dictator, which he's not a dictator, he was elected, but you know what I'm saying. So that's why I think it's important to just kind of stick to the facts and say, regardless of whatever the goals of these governments are, if it is not in the interest of the security of the American people, if it's not the United States being directly harmed, then we need to stay out of it, and we don't need to be dragged into a war with Russia.
But once again, even her language too this morning on her video when she talked about the situation with Erdogan, she still had to use. It was like once again 2014 all over again when she was put in a corner for trying to call out Obama's bullshit when he was calling them moderate rebels, and she was saying you shouldn't call them rebels, and they are Al-Qaeda funding megalomaniacs. We were funding the worst of the worst. She had to once again explain that, but she was very careful the way she explained.
She was much better.
But once again, because the American people they don't have their eyes on foreign policy, and they don't understand Turkey's role. They don't understand Saudi Arabia's role. They don't understand those roles, and she has to constantly point that out and explain that to the American people.
And I gotta say too, so I agree with everything she is saying, but I also am educated enough to be able to dichotomize when she's talking about a general leader who is probably a victim of our imperialism, regardless if they're a quote-unquote dictator or not, and one of our puppets. But the average voter, right? I have to think about it from a strategic perspective as a surrogate. The average voter is going to look at her, hear the things that they have said, right? She's an Assad apologist. She's easier on Assad than other people. She, they call her Islamophobe. All these things being untrue. However, you have to think about it from their perspective and then kind of still get your message across, but make it palatable to people who are less educated about what's going on in the world and our role in that. Because Bernie, he dumbs things down. He's really, really good at dumbing things. He dumbs down Medicare for all so much better than even Warren when she was copycatting it, right? That was something that Tulsi had struggled with, but she dumbs down, for example, regime change better, and that's one of the things that has made her message so receptive to the I don't want to say the MAGA, the working class MAGA, right, the working class MAGA,
non-interventionist,
MAGA, who people, all they know is NAFTA and the wars that their sons and daughters were sent to go fight. And she dumbs it down, makes it layman's, so that people can, oh wow, I didn't even think about that. Joe Rogan people, for example.
When she said what she said, I think a lot of people are going to go back and go, wait, maybe I shouldn't have held that against her when she was saying radical Islamist terrorist. Maybe calling out Obama for saying moderate rebels, which she was just calling out that particular situation in Syria, what we funded, Timber Sycamore, the whole 9 yards. We've talked about it before. Darren Alebi asked, how can progressive supporters get Matt Dust fired or removed? I don't know.
Keep tagging that motherfucker on Twitter.
All the time.
Keep tagging him on Twitter.
And Carly D, a little disappointing, says Russians are an innocent in cyber warfare for real folks, but I don't know if you're trying to say that the Russians kind of swayed the last election in 2016 with their memes. It didn't have any effect, and don't believe it had any effect because it's bullshit. And the last Super Chat contribution is from Ben Riley. Says Russia to deflect from Bernie bro thing because people aren't educated on that. So he can blame botnets, and Trump is blaming Russia for Bernie too, ironically. So I mean,
Yeah. Hey, you know what's funny though?
I hate this political calculation.
The funny thing is, people are like, but Russia is really interested in cyber warfare.
Come on.
Just out of curiosity, everybody, have y'all ever heard about Vault 7? Y'all think that we're the only ones who get the WikiLeaks? The WikiLeaks is available to the whole internet. If you would have seen what we saw in Vault 7, you do know that Russia saw that years before we saw it in WikiLeaks. Their intelligence is better than ours, in case you didn't know. Which is why they can seemingly bomb ISIS and actually end wars in a year. Or 6 months. They're like, literally, once we left, remember we left temporarily out of Syria? They start bombing ISIS. ISIS is literally defeated in a month.
Yep.
And then we come back and ISIS is just, hey, what's up, everybody? Just coincidence. You know, it's like, we're the worst bullies on campus because we don't even scare the people that we're supposed to scare, apparently. So, but my point is that Russia, like any other superpower, would absolutely be preparing for cyber warfare because we literally conduct cyber warfare in various ways against superpowers on a regular basis. It's like Tulsi said, is somebody going to stand up to these intelligence agencies? And it's sad that sometimes it's like, as an American, especially as a quote-unquote woke American, I've like come to grips that one day, just by me enjoying all the privileges of safety, security, being able to sleep at night without worrying about my house getting bombed, like, I'm worried, but I've kind of resigned to the fact that if it happens, and it's something that, you know, I've enjoyed so many privileges, like literally peace of mind that so many people have not been able to enjoy, that like I have to go and say, you know what, I'm glad I was able to live the life I live.
Yeah.
You know, and it's sad.
Yeah.
You know, but
you
it's
got a
true.
good super chat, but you know, I just want to kind of echo what you said there, you know, Niko, when you talked about that. Like, you know, we all in this country have a privilege that they don't have overseas. There are babies getting bombed. You know, they're going to sleep. They don't know if they're going to get bombed or not. Now we have, you know,
imagine
obviously
being
have
a
our own
parent.
dirt. Exactly. We have our own dirt. We have our own issues to deal with here in the States like that. But the fact that a bomb could be dropped upon you at any time over there. So anybody in America has that privilege where they don't have to worry about that. And that's why foreign policy is so important. Go ahead with your super chat,
Absolutely.
please.
So
go ahead with your super chat self.
Super chat from Douche Canoe. I like that.
Go ahead with your super chat self.
So Russia helped Trump, Jill, now Bernie. Oh, don't forget, Russia helped Trump, Jill, Bernie, Tulsi, me, the Nina. They like Nina too, and Bree.
Susan Sarandon.
Don't forget
popular.
Susan Sarandon. They helped Paul Manafort, Julian Assange. They helped Elvis too. Apparently, that's what Word on the Street is. Oh, you gotta go a little bit further back too. They helped Martin Luther King too.
Gary Johnson.
The Black Panthers.
Mr. Hampton.
Yeah, Angela Davis.
Malcolm X.
Yeah. Muhammad Ali.
Muhammad Ali. Russia.
Henry Wallace.
Yep.
Bro, Russia has literally helped every single person that the Democratic establishment just happens to hate. That shit crazy, bro.
New pillows.
That shit is so crazy to me.
Niko, new pillows.
What, big cotton? Big cotton pillows? Oh, man.
But they're soft. Here, feel.
No, they are comfortable.
They're nice.
We're taking a breather.
We're going to take a Convo Couch breather. And check this out, Niko. This is a new thing. Johnny's going to play some of his beats. And we're going to breathe and look at Twitter. Take a look. Convo Couch breather. Where is our Mitch Osborne? Please, what position? What's the yoga position? Is Mitch, Marketer Mitch? Is Marketer Mitch there? Please come to the front. If not, Jackson Fast.
8 minutes till.
8 minutes till the polls close, and some results should be slowly trickling in. Almost 400 people watching on the Convo Couch YouTube. Over 300 people watching on the MCSE. Little small stream right over there. It's cool.
Oh, we little small stream now, bro. I'm telling you.
You know what I'm saying.
You see it? Look, they beating me on Rockfin because they came here earlier, so they talking their shit. But if you're not on Rockfin, hey, go follow me real quick. Y'all need to put me up. I'm catching up, though. I'm like 300, 400 people behind. They were like 1,000. They had like 1,000 people on me.
We had a new endorsement today, Niko, and we're going to send that person a Convo Couch shirt.
Oh, that's
That
dope.
was on the Rockfin stream. If you haven't gone over to Rockfin, Niko has a stream. I have a stream. Ron Pacone has a stream. Graham Elwood has a stream. Blah, blah, blah.
Mike Cernovich, if you're more, you know,
Yes.
if you're into the right lane.
Mr. Tool, he has one too as well.
Hold up, Pool?
No,
Pool?
that's not Pool. Tool. John Tool.
Oh, yeah.
Not-
Another guy, too. Another
Yeah.
popular dude. He got like 100,000. His name was Eric something, maybe.
Mitch Osborne, I learned on Niko's show that Russiagate stems from our inability to control Putin. Once U.S. control Boris Yeltsin was gone, we needed something. And child's pose in the memory for us bombing children. So for the Combo Couch Breather, Mitch Osborne, who is now doing he's our yoga leader today because Jackson Fax isn't here. Mitch has said child's pose in memory for all the children that get bombed. And when Niko was able to introduce Tulsi Gabbard in New Hampshire the first time, he talked about it, and he touched a lot of people, and a lot of people there are anti-interventionist libertarians that really appreciated what Niko had to say, and it was really great.
Oh yeah, man. Actually, that day we flipped a lot of people, the close supporters that day.
Yes.
Which is crazy because when I'm giving speeches to introduce Tulsi, which by the way is the easiest job ever, you know, and I've introduced a lot of, you know, her, Tim Canova comes to mind. I've introduced a lot of people, Jill Stein. But Tulsi is easy because you don't have to wonder what she'd do if she was in office, right? I have so many bills to talk about. I have legislation to point to, videos of speeches she's given while on the floor of Congress. I don't have to wonder if her integrity would waver once she got into office because she's been in office. All she had to do was shut up, and she'd be the front runner right now. You know, that's all she had to do was shut up. She would have been the front runner. So,
Johnny, you got a favorable in South Carolina. You want to put up real quick a little tweet over here? Taking a look, it says Biden 75. Wow. Steyer 55, Warren 54. Sanders 53, Buttigieg, Klobuchar 44. Bloomberg not in the poll.
Oh, poll.
And I guess they didn't get a favorability rating on Tulsi Gabbard.
Exit polling?
It's positive. Favorability.
Oh, favorability. I don't give a shit about favorability. I don't care about... Bro, do you remember how unfavorable Trump was and how he demolished everybody while being unfavorable as fuck?
Yep.
Care about no damn unfavorable... Look, I don't gotta like you for me to vote for you. You could be an asshole. Like, you could be a robot. I don't care.
All right, I couldn't get it off of LA Times because the Los Angeles Times always makes sure you get a subscription. But we're going to keep an eye because right now we're about 5 minutes away, less than 5 minutes away from going in, closing the polls in South Carolina. We're going to get a bunch of results. We're going to see what's going to happen. I am really kind of curious to where Biden will perform. The reason being that this is, he's once again, that territory is Barack Obama land. He was, shoulder tap representative for Barack Obama, his vice president. How much weight is that going to carry? How will Bernie Sanders really,
look, we don't know if he was really sold to tap. He was probably tapped by what's it call it? Not JP Morgan Chase. Who was it? Citigroup.
Could have been either one.
Yeah, let's be honest.
Wells Fargo could have tapped his ass. Who knows?
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what Tom Steyer does. Those ads are going to play a lot of money. They're going to those radio ads. A lot of radio people in South Carolina just kind of chilling out, hanging on the porch.
So hold up. They literally, because there's no other candidate other than Tulsi left, right?
What's that?
In South Carolina. She's the only other one that's not up there.
Yes. So she's also the only one that didn't get a town hall.
They did a poll where they asked about literally everyone except Tulsi.
That's the game right now. Just ignore her. Pretend like she's not there.
That's okay.
Pretend like she's not there.
Look, because here's what's going to happen. Hold on, let me get a super chat. Valdez, thanks for the super chat. Trump was labeled a Russian agent after he beat Hillary. Well, before he beat Hillary. Tulsi was labeled a Russian agent after she cooked Kamala. Facts. Does Bernie see the pattern?
We don't know.
We don't know, but
we hope he does.
You know what I'm hoping? What I'm hoping, by the way, this is pure speculation. Do not take my word for this, but what I'm hoping is that Tulsi had a conversation with Bernie before she wrote that article on the Hill, right? Now, very often, right, Tulsi just does what the hell she wants to. But I do know that they're still very close and they still talk. And I know she still talks to Nina. And I know that this issue is kind of very difficult. It's very, very difficult for the campaign to navigate because you do have a unique issue in Bernie's campaign, which is I have faith in the competence to articulate complex analysis in a very concise manner when it comes to maybe three people. That's Bernie, Nina, Bree, and Jane, if she's on TV. Cornell. I don't know about foreign policy in that regard, but I know overall. But and there's just not. Killer Mike, another one. Yeah. But they're not. But when you're talking about the complexities of Russiagate, the way you have to be able to communicate that without coming off as an asinine or apathetic type of surrogate, it's very complex, right? And Bernie is not going to just be able to teach every one of his surrogates who would get bombarded if they combated it in the same way that Tulsi did in this article. And so I would be curious to know if Tulsi and Bernie had a conversation and Tulsi was like, look, I'm going to do this. Because if you look at the article, it's centered around the accusations that Russia's trying to hurt Bernie. And she was very clear about that. But she didn't write an article when it was time to defend herself. Of course, she spoke up about it.
Yeah.
But this article by the way, 10,000 shares. It's crazy what happens when your tweets don't get scrubbed. But this article right now has 10,000 shares, 10,397 shares. And it is very direct. She didn't write an article when it was time to defend herself, but when it came to defending Bernie, and then most importantly, which I think that me and Pops would probably both agree about this, calling out the intelligence communities for specifically interfering with our elections. No other candidate has done that.
Really the most dangerous fucking threat.
The most dangerous
intelligence. And their links to the media, to the mainstream media, the way they have all these ex-intelligence officers all over MSNBC and CNN, the narrative they get to push, and it really is sad to see a lot of liberals, let me those air quotes, sitting there and being okay with it. They hate Donald Trump so much that they push this Russiagate narrative. And it was also, too, though, it was sound the bell, hit the alarms, Niko. When Bernie Sanders has this rhetoric and he could possibly be the nominee, it's scary. Yeah. It's scary. It was scary to hear, to see Nina go with this kind of same rhetoric. Same with Chuck Rocha, calling out Putin as a thug and authority. We want him sitting down and talking to Mr. Putin. Remember, the doomsday clock is like 90 seconds away from midnight. That's what trouble we're in, Johnny.
It's the closest.
What's that? It is now 4 p.m. Ooh. The polls have closed. It is 4 p.m. The polls have closed. Carrie Mark, we see you joining in. Let us know. Hit us up on our Convo Couch Gmail, the convocouch@gmail.com, so we can get your information. We're going to send you a shirt, Carrie, for being such a great supporter. Michael Murphy, thank you so much for being in the house. It is now 4 o'clock, Niko. The polls have closed in South Carolina, and we're going to get some results coming in.
There should be
slowly.
some exit polling soon.
Yeah. There should be. It should be out very, very shortly.
Hey, if there's no exit polling, then Bernie supporters should be happy.
Hey, guys.
Do you think Jim Clyburn's endorsement was important or no?
I think it was.
Too.
Bro, Jim Clyburn is like Jesus in South Carolina. It's unfortunate, but like
I don't know. Jim Clyburn's different. He's definitely looked at this kind of election, especially what he did in 2016 and the way he kind of supported Mr. Williams,
Bro,
his actions and stuff.
Did you see Jim Clyburn's cookout, dog?
I did. And that once again, that is that older folk, but the younger folk look at Jim Clyburn as a very much establishment thug. Get out of here.
Projecting Joe Biden as the winner.
Where?
Bro, how?
MSNBC right out the gate.
How you just gonna chair? But what if maybe there's some exit polling I missed? South Carolina. They're not even showing any numbers.
What? Where are they getting this? How does MSNBC get this first?
Bro, do you know where they're basing it off of? Do you know what they're basing it off of? They're basing it off of the favorability rating. Bro.
What the hell is going on?
Man. You know what's funny? So before we even get a single result released, this is the second time this happened, by the way. Before we've even gotten the results released, Joe Biden declares victory. Bro, Bernie literally had to get over 50% of the damn votes in Nevada before they were like, I guess he's the winner. He had to get 48% of the voting had to come in before they even called it for Bernie.
I don't know.
It was over at least 48%. Because I remember I was like, why haven't they called it yet? The man is dismantling them.
You're talking about in Nevada?
In Nevada, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was...
And they hadn't called it.
It was almost... Bro, yeah.
I'm looking at everything, and there aren't any results released.
I don't see anything anywhere. I'm looking all over the place. I can't find anything.
Oh, man. Late deciders in the Clyburn endorsement, what we were just talking about. So it says about a third of South Carolina voters said they made up their minds about whom to support in the final days of the campaign there, according to the exit polls from CNN. That's significantly lower than the half who decided late in New Hampshire, and higher than the 1 in 10 who did so in Nevada. The survey suggests white voters in South Carolina were more apt to make up their minds in the last few days than were the state's black voters. Women were also more apt to make up their final decision in the last few days than were men. Roughly 1 in 5 overall said they had made up their minds earlier in February, and about twice as many said they had made up their. Man, I'm glad that Bernie spent so much time there. It's a good thing Tulsi and Bernie were like hitting the ground there.
But where are these numbers coming off of? I don't understand this.
Bro,
Exit polling.
South Carolina Democratic Rep James Clyburn's late endorsement for Joe Biden was a critical factor for about a quarter of South Carolina Democratic primary voters. That's a lot. While similar shares said his announcement for support for former Vice President Joe Biden did not matter to their vote at all. Among black voters, the share calling it the most important factor rises to about a third. That's significant, bro. Hold on, what the hell is this? Are they really saying that Biden got 60% of the black vote? Not already. Or is this polling?
Exit polls.
But it's still 0% reporting, and
Bro,
they
what are they
just
doing with
call
those 52 precincts? Yeah, there's more
I
than
don't
white
get
people.
it. I don't get this.
I was say, what percentage of black people are?
56% favorable, 36% unfavorable. He's not unpopular, but compare that 36% favorable, unfavorable rating among black voters to Joe Biden. 85-11. So Joe Biden.
Oh, I believe that.
Absolutely
In South Carolina.
black voters
But that's not.
But you see the narrative they're
that's
saying it
so not
destroys
a-
them. It's like they're just putting out that narrative. They want to get it out there early. They wanted to get it out there quick. They want to do anything to stop Bernie Sanders' momentum whatsoever. The fact that they're closing this, I mean, they have to have the fixes. Got to be in.
Yeah, bro. What are we gonna do about those 52 precincts or 52 polling locations? Like, I still want to know what's happening with those.
I still got a 0% reporting, but we have called Joe Biden the winner.
Yeah.
when all is said and done,
Hold up.
voted Joe Biden, so that will move him to 35 at least. Nobody else at this point, our decision desk is confident, will get delegates out of South Carolina. So that Biden number is going to grow as the night goes on. You can see he is
Huh?
past Pete Buttigieg.
Where do you get 35
Because
delegates
he's
from?
going to say he's going to get the 20,
Bro, they're
the
literally just
20
making
winner
up.
take all.
Carolina to be allocated.
They're literally just making up. They're literally just making.
They're putting this
up.
narrative out there right now. They're trying to tell the world that Joe Biden is a viable candidate.
Stop paying attention, everybody. Joe Biden already won. That's what they're telling us. Yeah, nah. I'm like waiting for my DMs to like fill up now. Bro, I couldn't even vote. My registration got switched.
The Democratic race. Well, I think this
Damn, they're claiming Biden's now second in delegates behind Sanders if he does win South Carolina.
Bro, they can't even There's no way you can predict that. You would have to get almost all the delegates.
There's 54 delegates tonight.
No,
Total.
total. But that's what super delegates. I think there's 30 something.
They'll be distributed tonight.
Oh shit! Wow, South Carolina has a lot of black people. Like, I mean, 13% for a state is a lot. This South Carolina has 27%.
Yeah.
Who a lot of them slaves stayed in South Carolina after everything was said and done. Good God Almighty, that's crazy. Wow. Yeah, Clyburn's endorsement's a big deal, bro. They put Obama over the top.
According to exit polls, they're going to call this race. Now, they stopped doing exit polls in 2016, CNN and MSNBC, because they didn't like the results that were coming up. But when it favors them,
They brought him back.
they're going to bring him back, and they're going to put him out there and say, boom, he's the winner.
Yeah, so they're definitely just putting out a narrative right now. There's been no numbers. I can't see any numbers. I can't find any numbers.
They're going to make sure they shave it no matter what, that he wins. Maybe he wins barely, but it's kind of crazy. Is Bernie Sanders made a statement yet? It's 0% reporting. How do you call something with 0% reporting? This is the mainstream media, ladies and gentlemen, the mainstream media.
What's the music on?
Super chat contribution from Mitch Osborne. Why are these hosts smiling ear to ear? Fixes it 100%. Are we in Venezuela? That is not Moscow Mitch, but that is Marketer Mitch. Carrie Mark, if you're still on, make sure you hit us up and we'll get your shirt size and send it out to you. Got over 400 people she has. Over 400 people watching on the Convo Couch YouTube. Over 300 people watching on the MCSE network. Almost 800 people. People are running to us right now because they want to know what the dilly, yo.
Go.
13 people watching on the Rockfin. Go to our Rockfin, like, share,
go to my
subscribe.
Rockfin. Hey, go to my
Endorse,
Rockfin first. Go to
endorse.
mine first. Go to mine. Help me catch up to the Combo Couch. On
Sign
Rockfin,
up
yo.
for his and then endorse us.
No, that's not what I said.
That's
I
what
did
he
not
said.
say that. Hold on, how many endorsements do you have? How many endorsements do I have? Do you know?
44, 45.
Yeah. Come on, y'all. They're catching up to me. What they got? They got 40,
50.
50. They're about to pass me in endorsements, people. Come on. Look at this. They're already beating me on
Hold on,
Rockfin.
they said your mic's not working. Hold on one second. So go over to our Convo Couch Rock.
Oh, you full of shit. You're a dick.
Hit endorse.
He's such a dick. He's such a dick.
Hey, so glad
but,
you're in town.
They were early. They were early to Rockfin.
Oh, stop.
You gotta give them props, man. Gotta give y'all props because y'all were early to Rockfin.
Well, Ron got us over there, Ron Placone and whatnot and stuff. But I just like to say I'm glad that you're in town. I'm glad we're doing this. We're right in the middle. Remember we talked about this a couple years ago, like, okay, it's going to be 2020 and it's going to be primary season and we're going to be in the thick of things. We are. A lot of people are jumping over to our channels right now because they want to know what is going on. Carrie Mark, I sent the email. Thank you very much for the Super Chat contribution. We have 420 people watching on the couch, my favorite number.
CNN projection. Biden wins South Carolina.
Yeah. 0% reporting.
0% reporting must mean Biden. Hey, everybody. But we're the same country that invades other nations after casting doubt on their elections. We're totally justified in that.
1% of the vote is in.
We declare victory. We declare victory before any reporting has been put in.
1% of the vote is in a couple. We have a precinct at least reporting. Joe Biden had 39.5%. You better believe that the early reporting will favor Joe Biden. That's what they're going to keep the whole along. If Bernie Sanders helps him get a lead, they'll push that down. Bernie Sanders at 27.6%.
Steyer's
Tom Steyer,
in third
third place. Warren fourth. Buttigieg fifth. Amy Klobuchar sixth, and Tulsi Gabbard seventh. And falling behind, Cory Booker. Tulsi Gabbard with a little bit of jump right there. They're starting to come in little by little. They're going to matriculate in.
Yo, if Tulsi beats Klobuchar here,
Uh,
low key, Klobuchar might drop out.
Okay.
If Tulsi beats Klobuchar here, she might drop out. She might be forced to.
Who? What's that?
If Tulsi beats Klobuchar.
Well, I don't know if Tulsi's going to be Klobuchar, but I think she's going to catch Buttigieg.
She's
today.
outpolled her. No, bro. Buttigieg just spent so much money in South Carolina.
Has he really?
He danced to back that ass up, bro. Come on.
You mean Steyer?
Steyer, excuse me.
No.
No. I think she'll be Buttigieg. But I don't think he'll drop out after that. But it's a possibility, though. It's a strong possibility that if he does, because his polling has been going in reverse since New Hampshire. And I think that he was under the impression that if he did well in New Hampshire, that he would carry that momentum. But oh man, can we talk about Buttigieg after I read the super chat?
Yeah, get your super chat.
Please. Oh, cause that motherfucker. I'm organizing a hunger strike starting on Sunday at noon to protest silencing of Tulsi. Hit me up for more info. DM me that info. So we can. I appreciate that, man. I definitely wanna cover that because that's so important. Because like she says, if it can happen to her, a sitting congresswoman, it can happen to literally any of us. For a fact. Man, how about the Tulsi surrogate blackouts though? Like, cool. You don't want to bring me on because I'm a dickhead? I mean, I am an asshole, right?
How much battery do you have, by the way?
Oh, you can go ahead and use it. I have my battery power is like dope on here, so.
Hold it right here.
It's dope on my laptop that my followers help me get because y'all are dope. Everything I got for the show is because of our supporters.
I lost a primary link I had for the results coming in. Thank you, Carrie Mark, by the way, for that super chat.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy because if you want to say Niko's an asshole, so we don't want to interview him about Tulsi, you know, it's cool. So what about Kim Iverson? Kim Iverson has over 200,000 subscribers now, right? Mm-hmm. She's very, very popular. She came from a syndicated radio show, millions of followers, definitely more camera friendly than I am.
The radio voice.
Got the radio voice. Professional as can be. Got the connections, right? People don't even know. Like, Kim's background is pretty extensive when it comes to radio.
Yeah.
But they won't bring Kim on, right? But these people, even when it comes to, like, for example, we talked about this when it came to the issues with Mike Bloomberg. Everybody was pretending like they gave a damn about black issues all of a sudden.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it was crazy to me. Like, I'm like, wow. And don't get it twisted. We've been talking about Bloomberg. I've been talking about Bloomberg since before, like in January, when there was a possibility that he was going to announce. And a lot of black people have been talking about Bloomberg. Like, the same people who were calling out Kamala were the same ones calling out Mike Bloomberg. But once again, black people don't mind seeing black people hold other black people accountable, right? But the thing is, whenever it's like a Warren or something like, or a Bloomberg, to see like white people like patting themselves on the back. Hey, I'm calling out Bloomberg's racism. Granted, it's very convenient for my narrative, but you know.
Well, at the next
celebrate
meeting,
me.
I'm gonna tell them too. You're gonna cut that shit out. You know
Cut
what I'm
that
saying?
shit out, bro.
Super chat contribution. You can get some lined up. I got one from Darren Levy. Says
Right.
the DNC and the MSN are going to rig it in every state in just like in 2016. It's a deja vu. And look at their whole demeanor. Look at them smiling. Look at them happy on
like,
the screen. They're woo. But you know, and once again, they're selling this bullshit false narrative. You know that really. I mean. They got the fixes in. The fact that they called it this early at like 7:00, they called it at 7:02.
How can they call it this early?
0% reporting. Exit polls.
1% now, but they call it at 0%.
Do they have a new voting system in South Carolina?
Yeah, it's called the cheating system.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, actually, it's the same one from
What if
2016.
they like literally just rigged it so?
Bro, they closed 52 precincts in the Bernie Pevy. Like, they don't even care.
They closed it.
They don't even care. Oh man, I haven't even had my mic plugged in. And y'all been able to hear me this whole time? Y'all gonna hear me even better
Have you
now.
even had it?
No, they gonna hear me even.
Niko. Jesus.
No, they can hear me, but not hear me like. they're
Now
able
it's
to hear me.
clean,
Now
huh?
it's gonna be like, oh man.
Read some of those super chats and I'll read some of mine. 'Cause I
All
got a
right,
couple more.
so Valdis Molsey.
Yes.
Will you guys be doing a Super Tuesday? Hell yeah, bro. We out here, cuz. It's going to be fun. We're going to have a good time. I'm going to be live streaming from mine. They're going to be live streaming from theirs. It's going to be a good time.
Dude, with Donald Trump coming out and telling people to vote for Bernie Sanders over Joe Biden, that really scared the shit out of the mainstream media. And that's why they made sure they called this thing early and whatnot. And this same kind of rally where there's about maybe 75 to 100 people there. Joe Biden, it's little small corridors. They keep showing it like it's a massive crowd over there. They're trying their hardest to really push Bernie down right here. So
Yeah, ahead of Super Tuesday, man. Now, let me be honest with y'all. Hillary, like, kind of demolished Bernie in most states on Super Tuesday. It didn't really help her because she couldn't really seal the deal until California.
Yeah.
And that was with all
So
the
they even
rigging.
cheated California.
So, like, don't panic if you're one of those people. Like, there are not that many delegates here for y'all to complain or panic.
Ben
really-
Riley, super chat contribution. There's still people waiting in line, and they don't want Michigan 2016 to repeat itself.
Whoa,
Also,
hold
Jim
up.
Crow
There are
religion and
still
yield to
people
the-
waiting in line?
Yeah.
Of course.
Of course. Because you know what happened in Michigan in 2016? I remember because I was in Miami actually that day. It was the day I met Tim Canova, and what's our other guy? I totally forgot his name. He ran for Senate as well. He used to be a music guy. It was awesome. But anyways, we were opening up the Miami Bernie office, and that day was Michigan primary, and Bernie won Michigan. It was the day that a lot of people could believe. They were like, "Uh-oh, it's on."
Yeah.
The mainstream media started to freak out, started to get a little nervous about who's this Bernie Sanders guy. He just won Michigan, and
He
I
blew
think
the
Bernie
exit
was
polls
not
and the regular
yes,
polls out the water.
out of
which
the
was
water.
crazy.
So once again, go ahead with your super
So
chat.
it says Bloomberg will take away big gulps nationwide. He better not, man.
Ah!
I'll be taking them shits right back.
Remember
to
the whole thing in
7-Eleven.
New York where they stopped the big sodas that you couldn't have in New York City? They took them
Oh,
out.
you mean the extra?
The extra
Well, no,
large because
they-
obesity. You want to tackle obesity somehow. But
Well, McDonald's got rid of their is the extra value meals? Is that what it was?
I think they were never allowed they were no longer allowed to ask if you're allowed to supersize it.
Well, no, they don't do supersize at all anymore. Remember, they don't do that. It's just large.
Yeah.
And my dad was pissed. I distinctly. It's one of the very few memories I have of my dad as a child. But she was like, "Boy, I can't even have a supersized sandwich anymore." And then what makes it bad is the larges is damn near as big as the smalls were back in the day.
Ah.
It's a different schedule for a different day. But
Yes.
what? Oh, so let's talk about Buttigieg, bro.
Oh, one super chat
Go
from Copernicus Thinker. Thank you so much. I regard, and this is going out probably for what you said the other day, Niko.
Why you be calling me Nikki? Who is Nikki?
Niko. I regard
That's his
Kim
little
as an
friend.
extended, unofficial part of the fam.
Yeah, and we missed a couple other super chats.
And by the way, I want to send. She talked about it on Twitter, so I think she'll be okay with us saying. But I want to send my condolences to Kim. She's going through some very, very hard times with her family. She's experienced multiple deaths in a matter of weeks in her family.
Yeah, it sucks.
On top of having to take care of her dad for the last year in Idaho, so she's been going through a very, very rough time. And so I just want to send some love and some good vibes to Kim's family on both her mom and her dad's side. And Kim, we hope you're back soon. We miss your great reporting. And by the way, your Palestinian video that you did, oh man, A1. If you have not yet, go to Kim Iverson's page. Go check out the video what she did on the ground in Palestine. Look, we talk about this all the time. We know a lot of that stuff is happening in Israel and Palestine. But, oh man, Kim just catches it in action. And you just really, truly realize how devastating it is there to be a Palestinian.
Johnny, which the ones we missed real quick?
Bet they haven't counted a single votes from Copernicus Thinker. If Biden wins by single digits, decent for Sanders. Carrie Marks says she sent an email.
Yep.
You missed a lot of them.
No, he said he read
Yeah, I
that
read that
one.
one.
Yeah, okay.
So you got those?
Yeah. Chris Matthews must be feeling his leg tingling again.
Hopefully he's tingling for the right reasons.
Let's take a quick break, and when we come back, Fiorella wants to join the couch over here. I'm going to step out, let you two kind of get at it. Johnny, you got anything else before we go away?
He's showing all these delegates for Super Tuesday. You see this?
Yeah, they're going right to the.
You want to be in position to take advantage because that calendar later in March.
Oh, Michigan Super Tuesday? Oh, pff.
And you're probably going to need
That bit, what? He said that calendar in March may belong to Biden? Yeah, Biden's going to win Michigan and California, everybody.
So they've gone back to
And
Biden
Maine.
regardless of what's going on. We just kind of reported today that Ukraine has now instructed their prosecutor to put Biden back on the radar to investigate the Ukraine situation that happened in 2014 when he openly said, "You're not getting the money."
You know, the video that we be showing over and over and over again, but people are like, why did Tulsi vote president on impeachment?
Yep. For what really
Because
happened
she
in
knows how
Ukraine.
to use Google and YouTube? Like, us? We're not great. Guys, we're not really that great at what we do. Like, be honest with you. We just search up videos where people tell us this. We don't have to guess what Joe Biden did. We had to hold a whole impeachment trial to guess what. No, he's like, hey, man, there's this video where Joe Biden says, and yeah, I sure did. I said, you're going to stop that. You're going to fire that prosecutor and stop that investigation, or we're going to withhold your money.
Yep.
And I said, you
not
can
getting
ask
the
the
money.
president, and the president's okay with it.
Yep.
Yeah, you're not getting the money. And guess what? They did what I told them to do. Yep. Okay. It was right there. And then people were like, but I don't understand. Why did Tulsi vote no on impeachment? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it was one of the best votes present, and she once again the censorship that she put forward was something that the Congress went back and revisited. Kerry Marks said rumors that closed down 52 polling stations an hour ago. Lines are inevitable, and that is the truth. They did the same.
Oh,
thing
that
in
wasn't a
Arizona.
rumor, by the way. That was a fact. Like South Carolina was reporting that,
Yeah,
and nobody.
that was
knew about
earlier.
it. Yeah.
So and look how they just put that up there right now. They just put it up there. So you take that screenshot. Oh, Biden won. He won big, right? You know, the same thing they did with Hillary Clinton. The same thing they did in 2018 when we did a show together. We were saying it's the tactics they use because now mentally everybody's going to say like, oh, Biden just smeared Bernie with the ground. And I guarantee you, even if Biden wins, it's going to win by a small amount.
Oh,
Bernie's going to catch up and get close, and they're not going to let you know that.
They're going to be almost tied by the end of the night.
Stay in line. Vote.
Yes.
Do not leave that line.
Do not leave the line. Also, don't forget, if Bernie comes in second, it means he got dismantled. But if Buttigieg comes in second, it means he actually won.
Yes.
That's what that actually means. I just want everybody to remember that, okay? Fucking.
Copernicus Thinker says this is Biden's last desperate stand. Yawn, toast. You better believe it. Look at the way
Arkansas.
Yeah.
He's going to win Arkansas.
Arkansas.
He's going to win Arkansas.
Clinton's going to get him Arkansas.
Exactly.
Big
well,
deal.
I don't know.
Do you guys know who Claire McCaskill is?
No.
Do we know who Claire McCaskill is? She was an ex-DNC lackey Clinton supporter from Missouri, congresswoman that got her ass primaried and voted out. That's who she is, Johnny. And now she's a contributor for MSNBC. I can't stand the woman.
All right, so we're taking a break.
Take a quick break. We'll be back with Fiorella.
Before we go. Make sure y'all go follow me on Rockfin. I need an endorsement. Anybody want to endorse me on Rockfin right now? I'm only 2 ahead of the Convo couch. They have 3 people, guys. You see this amazing production by Johnny? It's unfair. Hey, Johnny.
You had a 2-year head start.
I got
You had a 2-year head start. I used to watch you in the car from Miami driving with the tank top on, just looking good like, hey, yo, what's going on? This is Niko House, Mikasa
Johnny.
Sukasa, driving on A1A Boulevard, and here's the
some
beach.
Colombians and mojitos in Miami waiting for you when you're ready to make the jump. With no state taxes, Johnny.
Shout out to Biden for winning his first primary ever, says Mitch Osborne. Mitch, we'll be right back from the break. We got anything else? Remember, go over, sign up for Niko's Rockfin, endorse the Convo Couch, Rockfin. If you want to get these beautiful pillows.
What? Hey, hold on. I heard you say
I slipped in it again. 0% reporting, but Biden is the winner. We'll be back. Fiorella Isabel on the couch. We'll see you in a second.
Yes, sir. I'm going to chill with y'all. What's up, people? Anybody got any super chats y'all want me to answer?
You guys, you chill there. Fiorella, come down. I got to go handle the chicken.
Word. Chicken is code for drugs. What's up? Robbie, what's good, man? You ready for North Carolina? Bong burner break. They probably are gonna go smoke, to be honest with you. Oh, let's see, we got a super chat. Sparky, which Trump told his voters to vote for Tulsi instead? I know, that would be nice. But you gotta remember, Trump knows that Tulsi's his biggest competition, so he's not gonna do that. He's not gonna do that at all. Also, I was talking to a good friend of mine yesterday, and me and him have kind of been thinking that Trump is like trying to use Tulsi as like a trump card, no pun intended. I think that he is hoping that the DNC nominates Bernie because, oh, is it playing too loud? Oh shit, man, got this music playing loud as hell. I can pull it up right here for now. But I think that Trump is hoping that the DNC nominates Bernie because I think he plans on bringing Tulsi in for a cabinet position. And if he does that, like, because in order for him to do that, right, Bernie would have to win the nomination and then not pick Tulsi as vice president. And on top of that, not make a significant cabinet position offer to Tulsi. And so if that happens, and Bernie and Trump is like, make an announcement, and I want Tulsi to be my head of national security or be my secretary of state, bro, it's hard to beat that. It's hard to beat that. I'm being real with y'all. I don't know. Listen, Trump is not a great president. Trump is not a great orator. Very entertaining though. Trump is a brilliant marketer, and Trump knows how to win. Even through his losses, he knows how to win. Right? He knows he can't beat Tulsi in a straight up election. He knows he has nothing on her, nothing that he can use. He knows his supporters love her. So you know what he does? He literally uses his weakness, the biggest weakness he could have in this election, against Bernie, and uses that, and potentially could use it as his strength. So it's Bernie's decision on VP means a lot more than what people think, because if Trump offers Tulsi to be head of national security, oh, she's gonna take it. I can guarantee you. Like, he was already considering, we already found out Steve Bannon suggested her and she was being not necessarily groomed, but was being vetted. How many delegates does Bernie get? We don't know yet. The poll's just closed. Sparky, thanks for the super chat. Trump knows it'd break it off in the establishment. It would. You're 100% correct. Tat Gemini, has Tulsi met her fundraising goal yet? I would have to check. She was doing really well. So that's good. I can see Trump putting Tulsi as Secretary of State. Yeah. Or National Security Advisor, like I said, bro. Establishment will fight Tulsi more than Trump. Yup, and guess what? Hey, imagine this happens. Trump nominates, if Bernie fucks up and picks the wrong VP, and Trump gives Tulsi Secretary of State, head of National Security, or any other prominent position, Trump has a massive influence over, or Tulsi would have a massive influence over Trump, and Trump will listen to Tulsi, because Tulsi's the only one that's going to keep it real. And all the people who kept it real with Trump in the beginning got kind of kicked out, or they took themselves out because they were tired of arguing with the deep state. Tulsi is a damn professional at dealing with the deep state at this point. Now, imagine that Tulsi pulls Trump left, or populist, if you will. You don't even have to call it pulling him left. Gets him out of these wars. Has Trump confronting both the Democratic and Republican establishments. And then Tulsi runs in the Republican primary and wins. Who do you think's going to win? Who do you think will be president of the United States if she... Bernie... I mean, if he picks her as VP, she'll be the next president after Bernie. If Trump picks her, she'll be the next president after Trump. But either way, it look like Tulsi might make it. Because like I said, bro, don't ever underestimate Trump, dog. He don't know how to do a lot of things, but he know how to win. Pompeo's a warmonger. Can Pompeo and appoint Tulsi? Absolutely. Yeah, I wouldn't be mad at that. I would be mad at Tulsi if she didn't take the opportunity to control Trump's foreign policy decisions, or to at least persuade him. So, anyone notice how quick they're counting up polls now that Biden is winning? Oh, we know. You know how long it took them to declare Bernie the winner in Nevada? Like, it was like 52%, 53% of the polls had to be in, and Bernie had to be just purely dismantling everybody amongst every demographic. And they're like, whatever, maybe, I guess. Bernie wins. But not by that much, though. He only won like 50% of the state. But when Biden, before a single precinct is reported, while people are still standing in line, Biden wins! Democracy! Man. Can you turn that down, Pasta? That bass is like super loud. Talking to my peeps, bro. I've been on a plane all day. I think you got a super chat, Pasta.
Who?
Let me see if you answer this. From Ben Riley?
Yeah, I read it.
You read? It's soc engineering. I studied it. Oh, social psychology and social engineering. I studied it. It's textbook. So Bernie needs big name guerrilla marketing. I don't think you read that one.
I'm gonna go to the thing.
You gonna go with it?
No, I'm gonna go to the
thing.
yeah thing.
The thing.
I know you have your phone over there. Would you be able to cash app stuff?
Yeah. Well, shit.
Do whatever. What do you want? Indica sativa.
Oh man, that's hard.
I know they just came in. It's terrible.
Oh, that's so hard. Which one? What are you thinking?
I'm going indica. That's what I always like.
Is that the one that wakes you up?
Indica's more body. Sativa's more cerebral.
I need the one that wakes you up.
Well, that all depends on what's on you. I don't know. I don't know if your head buzzing makes you more active. A lot of people feel that the indica makes them more sleepy. It's more for sleeping and pain. Where sativa's more cerebral and kind of.
I want a sativa.
Yeah,
I want a sativa.
All right, whatever you send me, I'll get that.
I got you.
All right.
Y'all, man, damn it, am I gonna have to? Let me see if I can do it on my laptop. Oh, I'll do it on my laptop. Oh, you got Apple Pay?
I do not.
Shit. Man. Oh, I'm gonna log into my Cash App. I'll do it on here. Y'all excuse me while we make drug transactions while we're live streaming. It's legal here though, so it's cool. Whatever. Behind the scenes with MCSC Network. We send the white man to go buy the drugs. We're not getting weed. We're purchasing dandelions. Don't call dandelions weed. We're purchasing medicinal marijuana. I have ADHD. Pasta has white manism. He has Caucasian. The Caucasianona virus. We sent Pasta to go because even in California where it's legal, I'm not trying to be black driving with a bunch of weed. I mean, dandelions. on real quick, people. Firepluff, does Tulsi have a path? Sucks that the first time you're wrong is New Hampshire of all times. Well, so I'll answer both of those things. Tulsi does have a path. It's a very difficult one. But at the end of the day, I did say, was very clear, and it's not just about my predictions about Tulsi, but also about Bernie as well, that it's barring election rigging, right? At the end of the day, like we saw in real time, like Tulsi had a delegate in Iowa, which kind of caught us off guard. While we were watching it live, they took the delegate away. New Hampshire, we saw how bad the exit polling was. So it's like I said, if you've been a fan of this show for a while, me or the Convo Couch, then like our predictions are usually like 100% correct, or at least 98% correct, right? Very rarely are we off, and if we're off, it's like some semantic like detail, but it isn't like crazy. But if we are way off on something, it's because there's usually rigging involved. And with the 12% difference in, or the 12% disparity that we saw in New Hampshire when it came to the exit polling, in those cities that use the AccuVote machine, like that's pretty obvious. Like there was something up there. And I had been saying, even as I saw the results coming in before I spoke for Tulsi that night, I was like, look, they're taking votes away from her and giving them to other people, so she can't get a certain amount. Like it was obvious. Do you really think that Trump would listen to Tulsi even on stuff like, say, lifting the Iranian sanctions? Would Tulsi resign if Trump doesn't listen to her enough? Yeah, she would, absolutely. That's 100% true. She would. But I do believe Trump would listen to her. If you all recall, Tulsi was at least partially the reason that Trump pulled the CIA out of Syria the first time before they manufactured a chemical weapons attack that made us go back in and force Trump's hand. There's still Super Tuesday. Tulsi. Exactly, there is Super Tuesday. And a lot of those Super Tuesday states are not as affected by the mainstream. I do wish that Tulsi had more time to spend in Michigan. I think she would have been just amazing there. I think she would have done extremely well. But, the movement takes a while to build. Bernie's movement took a lot to build in 2016. He had a lot more factors that benefited him. But, Tulsi has to build her movement too. Was Bloomberg on the ballot in South Carolina? As a write-in, I believe. Yo, Niko, why is there racism in the progressive movement? Oh, man. Well, I'll tell you this. I'll give you the same answer that I give when people say, why don't you believe in party politics? Well, at least part of the reason I don't believe in party politics. There's racist old white dudes that run the Republican Party. There are racist old white dudes that run the Democratic Party. There are also racist old white elites that run the Green Party. There are also racist old white elites that run the Libertarian Party. In other words, if people think that racism or the manifestation of racism or implicit racial biases are based on a party allegiance or a political ideology, you'd be sadly mistaken. The only reason that a lot of people fight for quote-unquote black issues on the left is because they're one of the marginalized groups that is affected by those who oftentimes engage in racism or implicit racial bias or prejudice. So like we have a common enemy, but just because we have a common enemy doesn't mean that necessarily this person is an ally. You get what I'm saying? So the racism on the left we have because of the same reasons we have racism on the right. I mean, if I'm gonna be real with you. Now, the more proper question would be, why does it manifest in the ways that it manifests on the left, and why does it manifest in the way that it manifests on the right? And it's because the left signals, that they are more accepting, more tolerant, things like that, right? The right doesn't necessarily play that game, so you don't have to pander in that degree. And because the left is made up of diverse people, like a very, very diverse coalition of people who have become leftists generally because they've either been marginalized themselves or they're very close to people who have been. But there are people on the left who do have just straight up white guilt. And to be honest with you, just because you have white guilt does not mean you are not, engaging in racist practices or can be subject to implicit racial bias. Like, you can be guilty about what you did and continue doing it. Like, I remember there were nights where I felt really guilty I didn't wash dishes like my mom told me to. And if I was tired 2 nights later, I did the same exact thing because it was easier for me to do that. You get what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to, so the racism in the progressive movement, I don't want people to think that it's unique or that it's like something like, oh my God, we're progressives, we're supposed to be better than that. Bro, like, I'm gonna be, like I said, I'm not any more surprised by the racism in the progressive movement as I am about the racism amongst neoliberals, as I am about the racism amongst Republicans. We claim as a movement that we are supposed to be better than that. But, like, let me be very clear. Nina Turner should be more popular than Crystal Ball, right? I don't mean that, like, in any type of negative way. I'm not trying to throw shade at Crystal. Crystal's dope. Crystal's cool. Crystal does great reporting. But Nina is a phenom who is one of the key reasons that Bernie Sanders will win this election. And Nina should be infinitely. Every time that Crystal Ball gets 4,000 likes or something like that, I'm like, how is Nina and Bree not more popular than Crystal? And they're out here every day. All they do is take hits. They can't take pop shots and then retreat back into their show where they then, because they have to then follow up the next day under constant scrutiny to back up what they're doing. But the truth of the matter is, Nina and Bree don't have 300, 400,000 followers, not because of the content or the context of their messaging, but because they're black women. And no matter how great they are, no matter, how much they've done for Bernie Sanders, they are still black women. And
so am I looking here?
you don't. Their opinions
how
are
is
just
it set up?
No, this is
Sorry.
mine.
Huh?
This is just mine.
No, I know.
Oh.
Yeah, it's just the camera.
Okay. Because I'm not, okay. It's just weird. I've never been.
You said not gonna lie. Edgar said not gonna lie. Kind of got a crush on Bree. Bree's cool people, man. She's cool.
Okay, Johnny, you're gonna go to me, and then I'll.
Sparky
Introduce them.
limousine
Together.
liberals think guilt
Huh?
makes up for
Together.
racism. 100%.
It's the same shot. It's the same shot.
Yeah, no. You know how pasta starts? I'm gonna start
Yeah.
and say, and we just go right into the South Carolina.
Okay, what are we gonna talk about?
Well, let's
You
look at the
give
latest.
your opinion on South Carolina, and then
Yeah.
I want to talk about Buttigieg too. Buttigieg is beating Warren. What's 3% reporting? But hold up, what the hell is that?
This is total.
Oh, that's total. There's no fucking way. There's no way.
I'm telling you, they're gonna probably.
Bro, they're rigging the shit out of it.
Buttigieg.
They're rigging the shit
Yeah.
out of it. If Buttigieg beats Warren in South Carolina, I would be pissed if I was Warren.
Yep.
Because that means that somebody was going out of their way to stop you from winning.
Yep.
Okay.
Yo.
All right, so
There's no way that Buttigieg should be like behind Cory Booker and Andrew Yang. 1% black reporting.
They rounded up for Buttigieg.
I don't
Buttigieg
believe
is
that
that
Amy
high.
Klobuchar has more votes than Tulsi.
Are you ready?
Yep.
Yeah.
Get your mic.
Oh. Hi everyone. Welcome back to the Convo Couch, and I'm obviously here with Niko House. Niko, so at 0% reporting, they had declared Biden the winner, as I saw when you guys were just streaming. So now I'm asking if Joe Biden is being helped by the Russians.
Clearly, Putin is choosing Joe Biden because they want Biden to lose to Trump.
By that same logic, though, that's what I mean. Like, by that same logic, that would apply. And that's what the Democratic Party doesn't get. They're so stupid that they don't even get that. Now, let's look at these results real quick, Johnny. Let's pull up the results.
All 3% of them.
All 3% of them. But how is Pete Buttigieg doing so well in this race?
With 1% of the black vote. The whole reason they said that Joe Biden is going to do well in this race is because he had so much black support. And now they're saying that, now we kind of could have predicted that Steyer would have been in third, right?
Yeah.
But I thought that he would be far ahead of Buttigieg. Now what you're saying is also curious because Buttigieg is beating Warren right now.
Yeah.
And I just find that very, very, very difficult to believe.
Mm-hmm.
And if you would ask me, I'm biased, but I believe that they're flipping results. I think that Tulsi is probably getting screwed right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that Buttigieg is getting maybe a combination of both Warren's and Tulsi's votes because the deep state loves Buttigieg, right? We all know this. The CIA, the FBI, the intelligence community that Tulsi Gabbard keeps calling out, they love Buttigieg. So
Yep.
I don't know. But we do know that he has 1% of the black vote, and I don't necessarily trust polls, but bro, 1%. This man the other day just said that hey, we don't want those revolutionary radical politics of the 1960s, the same era that the Civil Rights Amendments were introduced. Don't want those politics. Yeah, I'm sure he's doing this well.
Yeah, no, I mean, Buttigieg is the establishment CIA candidate. If you look back before he ran, I mean, Obama was having meetings about propping him up. The CIA has been propping him up. The military-industrial complex has been propping him up. We saw the shadow app scenario in Iowa. So what we're seeing is that Buttigieg is that guy. And I believe Bloomberg is there to take votes in New York and Florida from Bernie to give to the eventual nominee, which is Buttigieg. And I think Warren is actually looking to do that. Thank you, Ben Riley, for the super chat. It's in social psychology, the social engineering. I studied it textbook. So Bernie needs big names and a guerrilla marketing game to prevent a contested convention and to be more alpha in debates. Did you guys talk about the contested convention?
Nah,
Okay.
I was saving it for you.
Yeah, so Niko, why do you disagree with Nomiki Constance's assertion that a convention is unlikely? Because I completely agree with you. I mean, I disagree with her as well. I think it's completely likely we go to a convention. It's almost inevitable at this point.
Yeah, it's almost inevitable. And let me just say, I want to give Nomiki Constance and the Unity Commission props,
Absolutely.
right? Because they did go into the belly of the beast and managed to get rid of the superdelegates in the first round, at least as far as voting for the presidential nomination is concerned. So, that's why it was all the more frustrating whenever I'm looking at a video of Nomiki telling us we don't have to worry about superdelegates and Warren is just gaslighting. In her logic was because Bernie's the only one with the path to get 51%.
Yeah.
It's almost like she doesn't understand that everyone else's goal has not been to get 51%. Their goals have been to cater and pander to superdelegates and the Democratic establishment to prove that they are the best presidential nominee potentially and the best running mate potentially. That is what their goal has been. Bloomberg and Warren have been pretty damn explicit about it. And for Nomiki to have been, one of those people who propped up Warren pretty frequently, I would thought that she would know that Warren has been pushing this. But she says that it's just consultants grifting and that Warren doesn't understand the rules. It seems to me that Warren understands exactly what she needs to do. And that's why she said what she said. That's why, 93 superdelegates came out and told the New York Times that they will be voting against Bernie Sanders if it goes to the second round. Why do you think that we're having a superdelegate conversation if it wasn't important? If it wasn't a possibility? She's like,
and not only that, Niko, just so people know, I have friends in Milwaukee, and they have been training to have 50,000 people there go, and also the law enforcement will have trained for 14 months by the time the convention arrives. If they weren't expecting some sort of resistance, they wouldn't be doing that. They
Yeah.
wouldn't pour in all of
you
that
don't have
money.
you don't prepare that much law enforcement for a convention that's going to be representative of the votes for the
It's
people.
just not. Yeah. It's just
Republican.
like,
You know what Republicans had? They had too many LGBTQ prostitutes at their party where the Congress people were leaving, sometimes with their wives, to go to a room. That was their biggest problem. They didn't have to worry about cops outside the damn convention.
Yeah.
Because Trump won. They allowed him to win. They said, hey, we don't like the guy, but he's here and he's popular, so we got to do what we got to do. And they went on about their little homosexual business, which is their business. And, you know,
Yeah.
if it's between themselves and their wives and they're prostitute, that's all good. But they ain't had to have no cops show up. But here we are in Milwaukee, and it looked like it's going to be up. It's going to get ugly.
Yeah. It's going to be historical. Thank you, Copernicus thinker. Maybe just early voting results / conservative. Yes, that's true. Early voting results end up being the most conservative. So I don't think all hope is lost. I mean,
I don't think
there's
it's lost
only
at
like
all.
3%, 4% reporting. But the idea here is, what are these CNN pundits, these MSNBC pundits trying to achieve? They're trying to suppress the vote, the people who still haven't voted, who are in line. Everything that they want to fit in this narrative that is basically saying, oh, Bernie's already lost it. Oh, don't worry, give up. And unfortunately, I see some burners being like, oh, well, it doesn't matter. No, every single delegate matters. Every single vote
They
matters.
stole delegates from them.
We have to, yeah, there's still delegates that we're fighting for in Iowa, you guys. I mean, you guys can't take this whole assertion that Bernie's going to just wipe out on Super Tuesday. Look at what's happening here. Look at the precincts that closed. Look what happened in Iowa. Nevada was what would happen if everything is fair, for the most part. That's what Nevada was.
Yeah, that was them, and this is why we have to speak out against electioneering and against the superdelegates and let them know that we're paying attention. Because I guarantee you, Nevada was supposed to look a lot more like Iowa.
Yeah.
But what happened was Bernie kind of caught them off guard, exposed them. The Iowa Democratic Party and Tom Perez and the DNC are going back and forth blaming each other because they both look foolish now.
Yeah.
There's now the Iowa Democratic Party is suing Tom Perez. Tom Perez is trying to blame them, and so the Nevada Democratic Party was like, we don't want that type of scrutiny on our process. People are clearly paying attention. Bernie Sanders is clearly prepared, at least for this scenario. So therefore, and there was, by the way, there was still some attempts to steal it, but it just not enough people were willing to. They saw those phones out. They saw those names put out there.
They saw all the media.
They saw the media. They did not want to be that one who ends up on the viral video on the Jimmy Dore show. Like, nobody wants to be that guy.
I got to give a shout out to Maria Estrada because she went the night before the Nevada caucuses and went to I think the chair of the Nevada Democratic Party's house and was protesting them, yes, with bullhorns and everything.
Crazy.
And then Politico wrote an article smearing her as a Bernie bro. Look at what the Bernie bros are doing. Of course, article by, I forget his name, it's the guy, Alex something, and Holly Otterbein, who are big Warren supporters.
They always like tag team.
So it's just funny, like, they were trying to kind of say, oh, look at what the Bernie supporters do, blah, 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 blah. It's such bullshit because maybe that helped. I mean, maybe they got scared. Oh my God, we're being watched by literally everybody.
Activists are outside of the house of the fucking DNC.
Somebody's got to do it.
So let me get to the super chat. Sparky, thanks for the super chat. Pizza Globalist, Intel Creation, and the Stooge. Yeah, fuck him. He didn't even go to basic training. Buttigieg plagiarized Obama speeches. Yup, 100%. Robbie, what's up? If Warren don't get a delegate from South Carolina, she's cooked, man. She's already been. She already been rotisserie style, but she might be flash fried.
She's gonna stay until
she's gonna stay. Yeah, because she wants California. That's her thing. Like
she's gonna get some in California,
especially because Kamala's no longer here. I'm sure that there are people enticing her, like, hey, if you stay and steal us, help us steal us from Bernie.
Oh yeah.
And do you know what Teresa Allen? Do you know what Emma on TYT has against Tulsi?
Money? I don't know. Like her should be influenced by money. I don't know.
I mean, I think it's a jealousy thing. Like not necessarily female on female, but like just contemporary.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're in the same wheelhouse. They're both women around the same age. Emma's considerably younger, but basically Emma's a young millennial, and Tulsi's like the oldest millennial. So they're still in the same wheelhouse. And if you're a Emma or even an Anna, Abby Martin even, Abby, who I like actually, by the way, at the end of the day, nobody wants to, if Tulsi becomes the president, she's going to be the best president in history. Nobody wants to be asked by somebody, about somebody in their age group, in their same position, or the progressive movement. How much does Tulsi Gabbard inspire you? Do you think about Tulsi when you go to Palestine and you cover it? Because Tulsi preaches about diplomacy and make like nobody like I wouldn't give a shit, but for some people, like I'm sure Obama had black male contemporaries that were really salty about his success, or especially older black males who had quote unquote put in the work.
Yeah.
Like that's a thing in every job and profession. And so
I wanted to mention this, Niko. I find myself in similar situations to Tulsi when it comes to a lot of people that resemble Anna and Emma.
She
I
means
just combine
white.
their names. Yeah.
She means white. Just want
because
everybody to know.
because I am a Latina woman, but I don't adhere to the vapid nature of identity politics led by the Democratic establishment. And so I am kind of with Tulsi in that regard, where we don't lead with that without acknowledging policy and economics and talking about how that's connected to imperialism.
Yeah.
And they see that as a threat because they get popular by completely avoiding those subjects and pretty much focusing on identity politics for the sake of the latte feminist quote white.
We talked about
movement.
identity politics more times in the last maybe 2 months than we have in the entirety of and that's mostly because of the progressives.
Yeah.
Like not even because of the neoliberals.
Yeah.
Like there is a implicit racial bias issue in the progressive movement.
There is.
And it's being exposed now, in my opinion, more than ever. Tulsi's run is exposing it.
Absolutely.
Some of these people that are being uplifted. Like, we were talking about the fact that although Chuck Broken might be doing a good job for Bernie in whatever way he might be doing it, like, there's no way in hell Bernie is hiring, not just Bernie, by the way, but anybody, is hiring a former black felon who embezzled money from a union.
Right.
Like, that is insane. And then the fact that Chuck Rocha only has the opportunity to work for Bernie because he didn't get jail time for it, and he didn't get jail time because he's a white guy. Like, there's no other way to flip it. If he walked, he's Mexican, right?
Yeah.
If he was, like, indigenous Mexican, without the whole country fake cowboy bullshit he got going on, like, oh, bro, no, you gone. First of all, you're not gonna be a union. You ain't gonna get a chance to embezzle no money.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, and not only did you embezzle money from union, but like that's Bernie's wheelhouse is unions. And if somebody wanted to make that a bigger story than
it's gonna be a bigger story. I think
when Trump, when he goes up against
once
Trump.
his primary is done, it's gonna be a bigger story. And I just want to mention too, on that note, Sima Hernandez and her opponent Cristina Sansun Ramirez. Cristina Sansun Ramirez, his real name is Cristina Costello. Grew up in Ohio. Then she got a tan and
Costello's
started
still-
dyeing her hair.
it's Spaniard,
No,
but-
it's Irish.
Oh, like
It's
that
Irish.
Costello?
That Costello, yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant
and
Castillo.
she took her mother's maiden name and then took her ex-husband's name after she divorced him, Ramirez, because it made her sound more Latina. Then, of course, John Graziano found that tweet where, not that tweet, but the podcast, where they talked about how Cristina Sansun Ramirez cut herself 3-figure paychecks while exploiting her workers, and this worker spoke out in this podcast for Mexican, led by Mexican hosts in Texas. And it's awful. I mean, she is pretty much an Elizabeth Warren. And Sima Hernandez, she's like an indigenous Mexican woman. She, she's definitely not white. And of course, the Democratic Party is trying to prop up the whiter version of Sima, who is a fraud.
Because I think she's actually doing way better than they were expecting her to in that Senate race. Because this girl the new girl, Christina,
based on
came
a lot
out of like out
identity
of
politics
nowhere.
lies, though.
But that's what I'm saying. They're pushing these identity politics, which is like weird because they didn't really run the identity politics that much with Beto. And like Beto was able to basically co-opt Bernie's movement to a degree, and they could blank out some. But now, when Sima just got an endorsement from Nina. All the major Bernie and Tulsi people all love Sima.
Absolutely.
And
Sima's
our revolutions finally acknowledged her. They fucked up and endorsed Beto instead of Sema in 2016 or 2017, 2018. And they have switched over their endorsement to Sema. Like and as Bernie is winning Texas at the moment, that means that the people who are endorsed by the people in his campaign, Our Revolution, are also going to be successful there. And that threat is seemingly why they put this fake ass Elizabeth Warren Jr. against Sema, whereas Sema barely talks about her ethnicity. She talks about the issues that affect the people who primarily occupy the region she lives in, who just happen to be Mexican, but she does not say, I'm Mexican, vote for me.
Or my name is is more indigenous to Mexico than any Garcia, or like, come on, that's disgusting. And also, Sema isn't backed by consultants, doesn't have a super PAC, and isn't backed by all the Beto people, so that says a lot about Sema. So AOC, rescind your endorsement of Sinsun Ramirez, because
What
a
the
lot of
hell
people
was
have
that
been
about?
tweeting at her. She hasn't done it yet. So there's all the information you need to know on Cristina Sinsun Ramirez. Follow John Graziano.
Hey, Fiorella gave AOC. She was the nicest one to AOC. She was a nice one. She gave her more opportunities than everybody else. AOC done pissed off Fee, y'all.
Yeah, she really freaking pissed me
that,
off.
that. I was like, that was it. That was it. That and that was something else she did too. Oh, attacking Tulsi over the president vote.
Yeah, that really
she
was,
did it.
and then copying her too.
Yeah.
that
foreign
was
policy is, or domestic policy is foreign policy. Or
Yeah.
foreign policy, like.
Oh, you've been hearing Tulsi. I'm like okay.
Oh, bruh. Oh, I can't believe it.
So it says,
You have to
Fee, think Bernie will have Tulsi as VP? Please say yeah. I mean, I would like him to do that. I mean, I know she was definitely on the list at some point. I just know that there are people there who don't like her, but there are also people there who do like her in his campaign. And also, his supporters overwhelmingly, after the whole... It took Elizabeth Warren to really, like, stab Bernie in the back I don't know how many times before some of these supporters came around and were like, oh, yeah, it's true. Tulsi is our
stabbing
is our
wasn't
friend.
enough. She had to literally take a machete to his back.
Yeah.
Like, that was when they're like, oh, man, maybe she's not on our team.
And even now, you still see some of these people like
should
propping
make
up
up.
Warren, and I'm just like, what? You can't just you're talking about condoning corruption and embracing it and bringing it into the Bernie administration. Are you daft?
Yeah.
And that's gonna push away people in the general.
Yeah.
100%. I know plenty of people who hate Warren enough to not vote for that ticket. And there's one of them. You know, I would really have a hard time with that because my morale tells me I can't vote for somebody like Elizabeth Warren. Also, I feel like they would hurt Bernie to make sure she's president.
And let's be real. We know enough about politics to know, first of all, that everybody moves right once they get into the office.
Absolutely.
Like, everybody does. That, by the way, for my Tulsi supporters, that would not exclude Tulsi either.
Yeah.
Now, with that being said, you would have to be bullied into picking Elizabeth Warren. Right?
Yeah.
Like, that would be your compromise.
Yeah.
They bullied you. They told you to pick maybe Buttigieg. You said no. They said calmly, said no. They're like, well, our last and final straw is Warren, or we're going to just go to... And he's like, whatever. I don't want to deal with this anymore. It'll be Warren. So that means you got coerced into doing it. That wasn't your pick.
Right.
Now, which is dangerous because Trump is going to use that against you. Because he knows who's in your camp. We've heard the recordings. He knows. So if you pick Warren, that's it for you. Just from that. Then, if you do win with Warren, what the hell is your administration going to look like?
Exactly.
What is the only...
Already, we have
know
issues with some of these people in Bernie's campaign.
You know?
So...
Like, we got to...
Weaver shouldn't have been involved at all.
Exactly. And Weaver, I don't even know if he's incompetent or crooked, but listen, all I know is our revolution sucked when he was in charge, and it was great when Nina was in charge. That's all I'm saying. That's all I knows.
Yep.
So... you got Weaver, and then you got some people in there that and just they're the people at the top of the campaign, like the very, very top of the campaign. It's like one side doesn't like the whole other side. Like they're split into factions almost.
Yep.
And you would never know because they obviously don't air their shit out in public. But obviously, for example, there's like the I hate Tulsi side, and the I hate Tulsi side also props up the Warren side.
Yep.
But the side that doesn't like Warren, they all love Tulsi.
Yep.
So that lets you know everything you need to know about that particular side. And so there's like this internal beef, and I'm hoping that Bernie puts a chief of somebody, because the chief of staff is basically going to pick who's like a lot of the positions.
Yes.
And I'm hoping that he puts somebody in charge that he can trust. That isn't Ro Khanna, because I don't trust Ro Khanna. Ro Khanna is not trustworthy. He's never been trustworthy, even before all the stuff we know about him. But then on top of that, you gotta worry about the people you pick for your foreign policy stuff. You gotta worry about stuff you pick for your domestic policy stuff. And then there are some things where you're not gonna be able to pay attention to it, like HUD, like the Treasury. He'll probably be a little bit more in tune with that. But there's just so many positions where you just have to hope that you pick the right person.
Yeah.
And above all else, I can deal with them not being perfect while they're getting to know the job. What I can't deal with is betrayal and disloyalty and an agenda being pushed in the guise of incompetence.
Absolutely. And I just think it's going to take Bernie's supporters to be like, okay, Bernie, like, these are the people we want. Make sure you're listening and blah, blah, blah. Because he always tells us every single time, change comes from bottom up, not top down. So you gotta push this.
It said, Sparky said, tell Fiorella I said she's real purty.
Thank you, Sparky.
Henderson Age, I told you AOC is a new Nancy Pelosi. I prefer to
hope
call
not.
her the new Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah.
She's all talk and no action.
Yeah, Pelosi does get things done.
Next-
It's just beneficial to rich people.
Next time you hang with Trump, tell him vote Tulsi. Yeah, we'll try. I know somebody that knows Trump, though. I do. I know 2 people that know Trump.
Huh.
But since you're there, tell Jimmy. Nah, Jimmy's in Miami right now.
Jimmy's in Miami,
Ironically
yeah.
enough, Jimmy's in Miami
That's
right
funny.
now.
That's hilarious.
But
Oh, I
yeah.
got another super chat.
Go ahead.
No, Tulsi inclusivity and or promotion of a Warren VP. No Bernie vote from here. Tulsi all the way. Yeah, I mean, and there are many people like you. Seekin?
Chicken.
Like-
I think it's chicken.
Sheekin.
It's
Chicken.
like I'm assuming it's indigenous.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm assuming. So, yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, a lot of people feel that way. I don't know what I would do at this point, you know. And that's even saying a lot for me. I mean, I'm a Bernie supporter hardcore, and I want to get Bernie in office, but I would just worry about his
It's
his
mostly
life.
California liberals who are perfectly fine. I know I'm concerned about that too. That's another
Yeah.
big reason. I'm like,
For
bro,
real.
I'm trying to make sure your grandkids got a grandfather by the end of this term, dog. So I'm
I
just
want
gonna
him in
vote
a Pope mobile.
You
honestly.
know, I want, for sure. Like I'm
Like,
listen, those are 2 people
not
I'm
even a joke.
terrified of.
Yeah,
and I
Tulsi
know
too.
I'm like, yo, if you make Tulsi your VP, 2 things need to happen. We need to make sure they're never in the same room unless it's the Oval Office.
Yeah.
I'm not even joking.
Yep.
But that would definitely make sure that Bernie's not taken out because they're not going to take out Tulsi, or they don't want Tulsi. Like nobody.
They don't want Tulsi,
Like-
but then the Speaker of the House we need to get rid of Nancy Pelosi as the Speaker of the House because
the Senate would be more. No, the Senate takes next, right?
Speaker of the
Oh no, you're right.
Speaker
Speaker of the House because
It's the
Senate
third.
is because the Vice President's head of
Yeah.
the Senate.
So,
Damn.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. It's kind of scary when we talk about this, but it's not. It's not a lot.
AOC is Speaker of the House.
No.
Oh,
no.
I think Barbara Lee should be Speaker of the House. I was
I
in
do,
favor
too.
of Barbara Lee being Speaker of the House in this last race. I
Yeah.
don't think she ran. She ran for something else though.
She did she run for something else?
Yeah. Oh, the head of the Progressive Caucus.
Oh, okay.
And didn't she lose to Bakari Sellers?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
How do
somebody
you
like
lose
that.
the head of the Progressive Caucus to Bakari Sellers? He's
Bakari's
like
like a
literally
loser.
the biggest
He's literally
freaking
a
sellout. Okay, Johnny, any updates on the
Yeah.
Twitter for
It's
the?
been, well, the results are coming in.
Mm-hmm.
But really quick, let me just say there's a few super chats we missed.
Okay.
So I'm just going to say them.
Sweet.
Ben Riley says, y'all need to get Bernie's people on early voting ASAP.
Yeah,
We
they
are.
are.
They are.
They
That's
are.
one of the big
But they're
things.
having issues too with that, and like we've talked about numerous times on the show, it's just constant issues when it comes to the provisional ballots.
But hey, please keep reporting, y'all, because when we report,
have a video. We can show it later, Johnny.
Yeah, when we report, they see it, and they've been doing something about it every time. So keep
Yeah,
reporting if
they
you have
actually
issues.
they
Surprisingly.
actually have. That's freaking awesome.
Copernicus Stinker. Fee, think Bernie will have Tulsi as VP? Please
Yeah.
say yeah.
We did.
Oh, you
We
did that one?
Yeah, we did that one.
Text in here. Seema and Tulsi were my vote, and Bernie and Seema were my girlfriend's vote. AOC can go mark herself. Renstein.
Wow, Ranston, we love you. By the way,
Yeah,
you're
Ren's
always
dope.
around. Thank you for your support. But yeah, I mean, I'm really pissed at AOC, and it's funny because a lot of the people who love AOC have been tweeting at her and
Yeah.
saying, "Hey,
She's
when are
losing
you
her
going to denounce?"
mandate.
And they're waiting. And I think it's going to take some of these decisions that she's making for people to be like, "Hey, maybe she's not as amazing." Because people, when they fall in love
Watch out
with
for
somebody, when they have this honeymoon phase, they don't see anything. They think they're perfect.
out
They
for
put them on a
post-
pedestal, and that's the thing. Like, she's a human being. She has faults. You know, she's not perfect. This is pretty bad.
Hey,
It
I'm gonna
looks
go
bad.
ahead and pat ourselves on the back real quick because we tried to tell y'all, and we were super nice about it. We were like, hey, we like AOC, but this whole Green New Deal thing, while simultaneously being silent about Tulsi and the Off Act after you ran on the Off Act,
Right.
and then simultaneously boosting Warren, and simultaneously boosting Julian Castro, and then
Being friendly with Neera Tanden and Kamala Harris.
being friendly with Neera Tanden and Kamala Harris. Oh, then introduce or co-introducing or at least endorsing a bill from Kamala Harris, knowing who she's funded by. Like, we were like, hey, y'all want to pay attention? No, you're just jealous. You don't know what you're talking about. Screw that shit. But AOC, she has some really good comebacks on Twitter, so she's perfect.
That's the thing. I feel like she made Twitter her focus when it should have been actually passing legislation, and like that's why I love Kashama
Crafting
Sawant.
it. Crafting
Yeah,
it.
even just crafting
even
it.
like Jai Pal even after she fucked up, and I don't know if she endorsed Hillary, but she definitely didn't like Bernie in 2016. Which is super weird, right? Because if you look at her legislation,
Yeah.
it doesn't make any sense. But I think, like I said, I legitimately think there's some people who have
Strategy.
an angst.
Yeah.
No, I actually think there's people who have angst from Bernie being a white man. Like,
Yeah, that's
because
true.
of all, like, if you're a brown woman in this world, especially in politics, you've dealt with so much from white men.
It's true.
It gives you anxiety. I get that. And I still didn't give a damn because she introduced so much progressive legislation. Like, she was one of the first ones on HR 40 for reparations. She's obviously was the one who led the coalition for Medicare for All in the House. Like, she... and she was the one who got the Democrats to finally coalesce and said that they would vote it, but the Senate's like, we're not going to do it. So that's why they haven't done anything.
And she's one of those that I would trust to be in his administration.
Yes.
Just on domestic.
Because she didn't like him and she still did the right thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And, like, I don't know, I'm sure she's probably gotten to know him now, so it's a lot different. But, like, she didn't like him and she still did the right thing. She still introduced, like, she didn't say, I'm not voting for Medicare for All, not advocating for Medicare for All just because I don't like Bernie.
Yeah.
She did the opposite.
Yeah.
That's actually something. That's why I have respect for Ayanna too. You know, like I said, I got my issues with Ayanna Presley, but she's like a mixed bag too, where she'll introduce mostly progressive legislation, and then she'll, you know, endorse Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah. Well, and I just got to give a shout out to Kshama Sawant, who took on Amazon and has done so much for Washington as a city council member. That to
And
me
she's
is
killing
insane.
it, bro. Like,
she's to me one of the best politicians of our time,
politics are
and she
local.
doesn't get the credit that AOC does. That's the thing. It's like, it's what Niko and I were talking about. You know, these hot takes on Twitter, a lot of these people that like just put something out there because it's catchy and it gets them whatever. It's like, those aren't the people necessarily doing all the work.
What's her first name?
Kshama?
Kshama.
Yeah.
I want to find her Twitter so people can follow it.
Kshama.
that's
Yes,
about
Johnny?
I have a couple more super chats we've missed. Let's see. There's Copernicus thinker. Jane alone won't let Bernie pick Warren.
Yeah, I mean, I love Jane. I think she's pretty awesome. If you've ever
That's
heard
so true.
Jane Sanders talk, that woman is like badass. She's the
Yeah.
one that was like pushing for
Bernie.
independent.
Yeah,
like,
she was like, we want Bernie to go independent too. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jane's the real deal, bro. Like, I won't say she's more progressive than Bernie, but she's more no nonsense than Bernie is. She's like very reminiscent of Bernie in the 1980s.
Yeah,
Like,
she
like
is.
you could tell like what she fell in love with,
Yeah.
you know, Bernie because of the
Yeah.
his activism, and she hates playing politics. She kind of reminds me to a degree of Michelle Obama. You know what I'm saying? Like Michelle, people don't realize how much she never really got involved with the games that Obama was playing, especially towards the end, until like, you know, she eventually half-ass endorsed Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
But like she's still to this day, she doesn't come out and defend anybody. She doesn't come speak for anybody.
Yeah.
And she's just, you could tell from the beginning, how you gonna be saying something like that? But it's cool. So that's how I feel like Jane is. Jane is just a no. Remember what she said in 2016? We can't.
Yeah.
You know, and she pinned that tweet. When she pinned the tweet where Bernie said in a video, if I ever tell you who to, I shouldn't be telling you who to vote for, and if I ever tell you to vote for, don't listen to me.
Right.
Like right after the primary is over, she pinned it to the top of her profile.
Yep. And that's why I know, this is why I'm a Bernie supporter and why I'm confident. I think he does think a lot of what we think. He's just not saying it. And it has paid off to a degree. We were on Ron's show the other day, Graham's show, talking about how he's gotten some of that Warren support. Some of the Warren people have been supporting Warren. It's different. The supporters, I'm cool with it. Like, come over, you know, we'll embrace you. I don't really care who you supported before. But it's the idea that these pundits aren't going to follow the money. They see the writing on the wall. They know what they're doing. Like Chris, what's his name? Bill Maher. He has been pretty fickle about Bernie. He has been kind of criticizing him and and
Benjamin
now he's
Dixon
all like,
switched from Bernie to
yeah.
neoliberal. And he's pushing Warren, and everybody saw the watering on the wall. Now he has a whole Bernie bro.
Yeah. Now,
you know.
but now it just seems fake. Like it's just very much like, oh, I'm now Bernie Brian. I'm gonna start tweeting about Bernie nonstop. It's like we see.
Bro, yeah. Now they went from always critiquing Bernie, pushing false idols, to now all they do is about Bernie. Like. It's obvious.
Yeah.
And they're not even saying anything insightful.
No.
They're like, we have the most people of color, we have the most donations, Bernie beats Trump, retweet me, I'm white!
Yeah, for the most part, except Benjamin Dixon.
Except for Benjamin Dixon, who wants to be white?
It's true, though. It's true.
Yeah.
And I don't tweet out stuff like that. That doesn't have depth. Like
Yeah,
I'm you know, I like talking about things that matter and all these issues like that. But all it takes is for you to tweet something
I
stupid.
tweeted this out 408.
What?
I said with 0% reporting, Biden has been declared the winner of South Carolina. But sure, the U.S. is perfectly justified for invading other countries after casting doubt on the results of their elections.
Any super
1.3
chats?
thousand tweet.
Zycan, no Tulsi inclusivity or promotion of a Warren VP. You read that
Yeah.
one?
Yeah.
And then after that,
What time did
Ben
it-
Riley
what
says
time
we
did it?
skipped him. I
Not
think
yet.
we read it. Ben Riley.
6.
And then
You
Copernicus
can
Tinker. At best, AOC is RFK in 66, not 68.
Oh, I feel you.
Okay.
RFK before he was woke, for those of you. Or, yeah, before he was woke.
Copernicus Tinker. In 2-hour line at Nevada early vote, a woman in front of me had Michelle Obama button. I said if she'd run, it would have been a landslide. Many applauded.
Yeah.
Copernicus Tinker's in line.
I'm glad she didn't run, honestly.
Oh, in Nevada. Okay, early vote. Yeah.
I just still can't give her like credit for standing behind.
I don't give her credit for anything. I mean, she didn't do anything. Like, I mean, she's Obama's wife. Like, I'm not gonna be.
Yeah.
I've always felt like there was some kind of weird thing that goes on in their household because Obama oftentimes like has these Freudian slips of his relationship with his daughter. How they're not as close as they used to be. I think it's his oldest daughter because she's like super woke. If like you ever follow her or like look at her shit, she's like super woke.
Interesting.
And so I imagine once Obama made that full neoliberal pivot, whenever Podesta took over as chief of staff in 2012, like they just kind of fell off. So we got super chat real quick. JLG forever. Do you think Biden's dramatic rise in the polls in the last week is suspicious? Bernie had a slim lead a week ago. Now it's Biden landslide. I mean, his poll numbers were suspicious since January 2019. So, do I believe that they're suspicious? To a degree. I mean
I
it's
think
no
Biden
more
was
suspicious
gonna
than I.
do
Yeah,
decent in South
everybody
Carolina.
assumed Biden's going to do well in South Carolina. I mean, it's like almost a 30% black population, and literally, like I said, James Clyburn endorsed him. It's Obama's guy. He ran on being Obama. Like, that's South Carolina is just one of those things where you just have to roll your eyes sometimes. Like, God damn it, y'all keep getting this shit wrong.
Johnny, I just want to point out, CNN just did an article that Biden's run 3 times before, but tonight is different. I just want to point out the differences when Bernie is in the lead, right, versus Biden, and it's like, oh, Biden, oh my God, now they're even reporting, oh, now he has the second most delegates to Bernie. Now Biden is coming back. I mean, they just frame this narrative.
Shout out to
Biden has no chance, you guys.
Case Study QB is about to have a field day with these clips over the next 24 hours. So we're gonna keep it. Make sure you go follow Case Study QB on Twitter, y'all, because them clips is about to be.
It's just fucking
Biden's path to the nomination after 3% reporting in South Carolina after getting demolished in 2 other states.
Yeah. Oh, Biden's the front runner.
Yeah. Did you know that Biden's really the front runner? He's in a strong 4th place right now.
After 8 times of trying to run for president. There you go. Finally, he wins something. Give him his
Oh,
trophy,
man.
America. Give him his trophy.
So according to Politico, it says 12.6% of precincts are in reporting. And Biden's leading, 44,000 votes, 52%. Bernie's second with 14,835 votes, 17.3%. Tom Steyer, 9,000 votes. Cyborg Pete, 6,500. Flip Flop Warren, 5,700.
Jeez.
Mountain Mom, Amy Klobuchar, and Tulsi,
Mountain Mom.
1.1%.
You say Mountain Mom?
Yeah.
That's
I'm trying to
hilarious.
figure it
Mountain
out.
Mom?
That's
That's
what I picture
hilarious.
Klobuchar as.
She does look like a Mountain Mom. It makes perfect sense. Now that you said it out
Really
loud.
does.
Hold on, I got a super chat from Hoo Burns. Shout out to
Hoo
Hoo. So far, Bernie's in second place. I thought that was where the real winner was. Oh, ha! Yeah, I know we said that earlier.
Right.
Guess those poll closures helped Joe. But Super Tuesday is coming.
Right.
Yeah, I know. I said that earlier. When somebody was like, "Oh, well, why would they disenfranchise white voters?" I'm like, "It's South Carolina. That's what Bernie needs to win." If I'm being realistic here. So.
Exactly.
Hey, look, Bernie. First of all, the race isn't over yet.
Yeah.
Not even close. Bernie needs to still close that gap by a significant amount because, like I said, every single delegate counts. But he can't. But this is like. If he gets delegates and the only other person who gets delegates is Joe, it's kind of a it's basically a push for him at that point.
Yeah.
It's even. But what you don't want is a scenario where he wins, then Biden gets delegates, Buttigieg gets delegates, and Warren gets delegates. That's what you don't want.
Yeah.
So like this scenario might actually end up being better for Bernie than him winning and then everybody else getting close to him. So.
But but Biden's going to get delegates. Buttigieg has delegates, and we'll see. I think Warren's going to get some delegates
But Buttigieg
here in
isn't getting
California.
no more delegates, though. He's
No.
getting no more tonight, though.
No.
And there's going to be a lot of states in Super Tuesday that Buttigieg doesn't get any delegates.
But their whole point is to combine
Mm-hmm.
and defeat Bernie that way. So, again, the whole idea that there's not going to be a contested convention is so naive. I mean, just look at these results. Just look at what's going to happen.
You know how bad it is? Y'all know Kyle don't got legs, right? So he don't be making it out to a lot of events. Even Kyle did a video yesterday saying, oh, I'm going to be out there. I'm going to be marching. Bro, if Kyle Kalinske is getting off his ass out of New York to go to Milwaukee, bruh, it's about to be hell in that bitch. It's about to get ugly. And I'm here for it. Look, man. Look, I'm way in the water.
We were discussing that last night with Melissa.
I'm telling
one
you.
of our FO friends for the Bernie campaign, and we were like, we'll see what happens.
Look, I'm not saying that I condone violence, but I am saying
JFK.
It's
Quote, if
shit.
they make it a peaceful revolution impossible.
That's what happens.
Make a
I'm not
revolution
everybody.
inevitable.
I don't condone violence, but I'm not everybody else. And
Yeah, and someone's
listen,
gonna
y'all,
get
this
pissed off.
Medicare for all is real. They're like, I could die next week anyway because I ain't got health care shit.
Mm-hmm.
If y'all hit me, I might get covered. Real talk, man. So this superdelegate situation is real. We don't even, matter of fact, let me check this real quick before we go, because my phone's about to die, so I'm about to let y'all go in a second. But I do want to check this. What do they use in South Carolina to vote?
So another super chat from Copernicus. Tulsi's got the mother of all workouts for pasta. Oh my God, yes. So if you guys want to, we could do a fundraising thing, having Pasta do Tulsi's workout on video, live stream it, for you guys to laugh your asses off at Pasta's attempt. That would be hilarious.
Why would you do that? Why would you do
What?
that to that poor man?
Are you kidding me? That'd be perfect for him and be perfect for us.
Me and Pasta been dodging Tulsi's workouts for a whole year.
I
y'all.
know. And I'm going to remind Tulsi tomorrow. Tulsi, Pasta still won't do one of your
So
workouts.
South Carolina says that they have new voting machines. So that's awesome.
I heard about that.
So this is the article. It's from January. Of course, man. Look, Nevada was forced to change their voting methods.
California
Iowa,
is
California, and it's all
electronic.
become worse. It's all to make it
No,
worse.
but California wasn't forced. This is a test. This primary is a test for their new voting system, by the way.
That was
just so
just
you guys
brilliant,
know. That's what
right?
they call it.
South Carolina voters will get a paper printout of their completed ballot starting next year when the state puts in place 13,500 new voting machines.
Yeah.
See, the problem with that is somebody has to challenge it for those paper ballots to be counted.
Yeah.
So just because you get a printout doesn't really mean anything. State officials on Monday announced $51 million contract that had been awarded to elections. That's what it was really about.
Yeah.
Only 51 million?
No, somebody got a $51 million contract. A corporation did.
Yep.
ES&S has a lengthy history with South Carolina. The company provided the state's existing voter system. So they just came up with an excuse to give a $51 million contract to them.
This is gross. I mean, it's not a lot of precincts reported, but it's still
Bro, the
like
machines
this is not.
Don't mean
Makes
shit.
sense.
If you're using machines, you're not even counting. They're not hand counting the ballots. It just made it like it's printing out a paper. Didn't say you're putting a paper in after it had been counted. Then the ballots will be supplemented with the paper ballots.
No.
No, they're just like, hey, $51 million contract. What does it do? Now you get to press Control P and it'll print your paper out for you. Yay! You get to post it on Twitter. $51 million contract.
Shit.
Got a super chat. Do you remember this vote? Jayapal voted for something awful around December, and then I read an article quoting her indefensible defense of the vote that it was something Trump and Dem establishment wanted. Are you confusing it with Ilhan Omar when she voted to not support the Armenian genocide, or to not recognize it? I feel like that might have been what it is. I think you might be confusing the two.
Yeah, guys. So, how are you feeling about these results? I genuinely don't.
I mean, I don't believe them.
I don't believe them.
I don't trust them.
It just does not make sense. And poll after poll, Bernie started leading Biden, and somebody said
He
all
was
of a sudden
dismantling Biden at
Joe
one
Biden
point.
decided to. Just
Bro, they're voting machines. At the end of the day, we've been saying it since January. There's no such thing as overwhelming election fraud. There's a reason.
You can do everything you can, but if you overwhelm it, then that also causes delays. And, as we've told you time and time again, California went from 4,000 polling places to 1,000 because they said that you were going to have 11 days to vote. But those 11 days turned into mostly 3 days, 4 days to vote because most of these places aren't even open yet.
What's up, bro?
I figured out the exact percentage of the amount of polling locations that were open for 11 days as compared to the other ones that are 4 days.
Okay.
It's 23 point something percent. Hold on, let me find it. But,
Jesus.
Yeah.
And they claimed the reason they closed all those polling locations was because people were going to have all this time in the world to vote. And I asked that question, and this is what we talked about the other day, and they dismissed it as, oh yeah, it's all cool, we got it under control, blah, 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 blah.
This is what we're dealing with, people. This is why we don't pretend like super delegates are just
494
here for
delegates
fun.
up for grabs in California, you guys. I mean, this is, most of us can't even sleep.
300 in New York.
And in Texas, 200 and something, I believe.
Florida, a state that Bernie's almost guaranteed to lose, over 200.
So right here you can see the Excel sheet. This is the Excel sheet from LARRCC. So this is all the locations, all 900, and I went through and I put a 1 next to all the ones that are February 22nd until the 2nd, and then the 3rd has a special day. So if you go down, we go all the way down, check my work, check tape. 78 locations, 230 the total number of voting locations open from the 11th, and that as a percentage of 978 is only 23.6% of the voting locations are available and open from the 11th, from
the 22nd
business hours, from business hours.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they close at 5 p.m.
Yeah, and that's the thing. People are working they're such assholes, dude.
But hey, everybody, let's just ignore it.
Let's just ignore it.
Pretend like life is normal. And guess what?
Because
They're gonna tell you to go vote blue no matter who. These same